No, when you look at this, you see why I asked you that.
Okay, show of hands, who had a good Thanksgiving? Everybody. Did y'all eat too much? Yeah. Yeah, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff though, huh? Yeah. How old are you? Are you this many?
No, 7.
You're 7. Oh my God, you're
8
old.
that year.
You are. You're old. You got a girlfriend yet?
No.
No. Okay. All right. I know. Okay, we got about 3 more people to sign in, and then we're gonna get started. Do we have anyone from legal online, Mr. Bay?
Oh, connection.
Oh, there's Mary. Where's Mary? Good morning. Shannon with us?
She is online, I believe. Yep, she's online.
Okay, we'll start. Excellent. We'll start with you, Shannon, when it's time for introductions and work our way backward. All right, I think we can go ahead and start with the preamble. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Zoning Appeals for this Monday. Already December. Santa's coming soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's on the phone too.
I have a long wish list, so I hope he brings everything I want. Okay, we'll start with the preamble.
Member Wilson, it's a little bit hard to hear you all in the room. Is there a way to adjust the volume?
Let's do a mic check here.
I believe we are down to one mic.
Okay,
Yeah, the one in the center here is the one that currently functioning.
okay. Speak up. All right, Ms. Wilson, are you having a problem hearing me?
Generally, everyone in the room is
Okay.
a little difficult to hear.
Okay, all right, we're down to one mic. So, reminder to everyone, I have 2 board members that are, virtual today, besides, it looks like a plethora of other people that are going to speak. So I tend to have a boomer voice, if it's hard for her to hear me. It's gonna be really hard for probably for them to hear most of you. So, when you come forward, you make testimony, you'll need to speak up, okay? All right, we'll start with the preamble.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Liz Cooper. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, December 2nd, 2024. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021, the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest to be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We've also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Great. You want to call the roll, please?
Sure. Ms. Wilson?
Well, we know she's present because we've heard her.
Ms. Roca?
Present.
Ms. Holzer?
Present.
Mr. Madison will be absent this morning.
Okay,
And Ms. B.
I am here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum with 4 members. We should let the appellants know that with 4 members, the appellant risks a tie vote. If there is a tie vote, then the variance is denied. You must have 3 members voting in favor of the motion in order for the motion to pass. So at this time, if the appellants would like to request a postponement to a future date, when we would have 5 members present, they may do so.
Do we have any appellants present in the room that wish to exercise their right to postpone at this time? All right. Do we have any appellants online that wish to exercise their right to postpone at this time? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed. All right. Ready to do Mr. Madison? All right, folks, and Mr. Madison is absent today. Ms. Holzer has kindly agreed to read the order of hearing and the rules of the hearing. If you were on a plane, this would be your in-flight instruction, so listen up, don't play with your phones. Go ahead.
Thank you. And you can follow along on the screen. So in terms of the order of the hearing, a description of the case will first be read into the record. Any person wishing to speak on the matter will be sworn in. If you're in the room, we'll invite you to the table. If you're online, we'll have you come off mute and be sworn in. A history of the property will be read into the record. After that, we'll read the legal standard into the record. The project team will then present their proposal. The board members will have opportunities to ask questions. Those in favor of the project will have an opportunity to speak. Then those who are in opposition of the project will have an opportunity to speak. The secretary will read any written correspondence that have been sent in. The City Planning Commission will give their recommendation. Council members, if present, will have time to give comment. The project team may then respond to any comments made by other parties. Board members may ask any remaining or additional questions or make suggestions. A motion will be made and seconded, and then the secretary will call the roll. So that's the general flow of what to expect out of the case today. In terms of rules of the hearing, please speak clearly for the record. We do have a court reporter who can only record one voice at a time when speaking. Do not speak unless recognized by our chair. Please raise your hand to be recognized. We don't entertain back and forth at the table, so one person speaks at a time, all right? All conversations must go through our chair, so again, no back and forth. Hold your comments until the speaker is done speaking, and at the request of our chair, comments may be limited to 2 minutes. All right?
Cool. Super. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Just so everyone knows who everyone is, we'll begin with introductions. We'll start with Ms. Leonard, please.
Good morning and happy Monday. Shannon Leonard, Chief Zoning Administrator, City of Cleveland.
Thank you, Mr. Beck.
Hello, my name is Xavier Bay, generally the city planning representative.
Thank you.
Mary Cornelius, City Law Department.
Ms. Kukla
And Liz Kukla, Secretary of the Board of Zoning.
and court reporter, if you want to raise your hand. This lady with her hand up needs to hear what you say. All right. At the courtesy of City Council, when we have one council members present, we move their case to the top of the agenda. In this case, Councilman Bishop beat you to it, sir.
How
So
did he do that?
he was here early. I think he bought people coffee. All right. So we'll begin with calendar number 24-146. The appellant counsel, if you want to come take your place at the table. And any other members of the project team can come forward to the table. You may need to pull up a chair. Now, are there other people in the room for this case? Okay, show of hands. All right, quite a few. All right, so what we'll do is we will swear in the people at the table. And then we'll swear in those of you who wish to make a statement, okay? So you have to be sworn in order to make a statement for this case. And then we'll do people that are online. Okay? Ms. Wilson will swear people in when it comes to that point. Ms. Holster is going to read the case into the record first.
Thank you, and I apologize in advance if I butcher anyone's names. I'm trying to do my best. All right. Our first case is calendar number 24-146. This is at 9300 Miles Avenue. Rhonda Musley, owner, proposes to expand retail store to a 4-island gas pump and canopy in a B1 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. Please note that this case was postponed on, let's see. Postponed from September 23rd, 2024, at the request of the appellant due to a personal matter. No testimony was taken at that time. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'll go ahead and swear in all who are present for this matter. There we go. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, give your address. I'll start with the gentleman in the white hat.
That's you. You're going to go first. We're going to go across the table and then we'll move to the people in the gallery and then we'll do the people online. Okay? So you need to state your name, spell your name clearly for the reporter, state your address. Okay.
My name, my first name Zaki, Z-A-K-I. Last name Ali, A-L-I. My address is 24496 Clearshire Drive, North Almsted, Ohio, 44115.
Beautiful. Well done. All right, we'll move on to you, sir.
Okay, did we hear him say I do?
He did say I do.
Yes.
He did.
Perfect.
Thank you.
My name is Mohammed J. Ali, Mohammed J. Ali, A-L-I. I'm not a boxer, but I am Mohammed J. Ali.
Okay.
My address is 19087 Saratoga Trail, Strongsville, Ohio, 44136.
Council?
I do. Kevin Bishop, Cleveland City Councilman, Ward 2, 601 Lakeside Avenue, 44114.
I do, Sam Mohammed, I'm the zoning consultant and the development consultant on this project. 4415 Newport Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114.
Beautiful, thank you. All right, now, for those of you that are in the gallery that wish to speak, if you'll raise your right hand, and Ms. Wilson will recite the oath, and then we'll just go down the line. I think what we'll do is we'll start. Sir, you in the red jacket, are you the last person in the last row there?
Yeah, it's a person over here at the end.
Okay, all right, we'll start with you in the last row and then work our way forward,
Okay.
okay?
Okay, so for those of you in the back of the room, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do.
I do.
Okay, state your
We got a
name.
chorus, Ms. Wilson, so.
Yeah, that was great.
We did a collective I do. So now we just need name, state your name, spell your name, and your address, sir.
Andrew Livingston, ANDREW LIVINGSTON, 9337 Gorman Avenue, Cleveland, 44105.
All right, well done, Mr. Livingston. If everybody else can do as well as Mr. Livingston, we'll be rocking.
Charles Frett, CHARLESFRETT, 7642 New York Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105.
Thank you. Next,
Ricardo Hawkins, Ricardo. HAWKINS, 8114 Beaman Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105.
beautiful. Next row.
Reverend Tracy E. Bush, TRACYBUSH, 8011 Beaman Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105.
Thank you, Reverend.
Derek Melton, BEREKMELTON, 8202 Fourth Avenue, apartment 44105.
Thank you. And it was Milton?
Melton.
Milton. Great, thank you. Anyone else in that next row? Ma'am?
Nadia Grayson, NADIA
Her name again, Madam Chair.
GRAYSON.
Grayson? Nadia? Grayson.
Nadia Grayson,
Great. Go ahead with your address.
9323 Pratt Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105.
Beautiful.
Okay, Tanya Hampton, 16125 Van Macon, Shaker Heights, Ohio, 44120.
And
I
it,
do.
and it's, can you spell your name, Tanya?
TONIA
IA, okay.
HAMPTON.
Beautiful, thank you. All right, yes, ma'am.
Francis Al, TALL, 18219 Libby Road, Lake Heights, Ohio.
Beautiful, thank you. Yes, sir.
Christopher Hammond, 18219 Libby Road,
Christopher,
44137.
beautiful, thank you. And your last name again, Christopher?
HANDY.
And love it, thank you. All right. Miss Wilson, oh, yes, thank you.
Kenya Gray, KENYAGRAY, 601 Lakeside, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Good to see you today. Like to have you in person. All right. Yes, sir.
George E. Farm, 10304 Miles Avenue.
Palmer.
Yeah.
All right, super. Do you get everyone?
Me too.
Okay. Oh, and you too.
They are Ridgeway,
You need to speak up just a little bit for me.
Ridgeway, Parkville Heights, 13201 County Road. CAIONRIGB.
Super. Thank you. All right. Miss Wilson, I think that's everyone in person. You want to go for online?
All right, I'll swear in everyone who's present for this case online. If you are here, please raise your hand.
This is just for the people online. We've got everybody in the room, so thank you for that. Well done, all.
All right, do we have any hands raised online, Xavier?
Through the chair, I do not see any activity online.
Okay.
Okay,
Excellent.
well, back to you, Madam Chair.
Super. It appears we've got everyone in the room. So, all right. All right, we'll move on to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. Then in 2011, it was changed to local retail business. I think the most pertinent information is that in 2005, there was a certificate of occupancy issued for a new dollar store. There are no variances on file and nothing more of note in the recent history.
All right. And when did we change, when was the zoning change? From general retail to?
My records show 2011, maybe Councilman Bishop might be,
Not sure. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right, and legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Cullen is requesting a use variance and an area variance for the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain a use variance, Cullen must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, such that there will be no economic or feasible use of the property without the variance. Will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variance will not be contrary to purpose and intent of the zone.
Super, thank you. And just a reminder, Mr. Bay, when we go to motion, excuse me, if you'll put legal standard back up for us.
That's it.
Liz, do we have any water? Sorry. This is gonna take me a second. Sorry, folks. Okay. All right, we've had the reminder. We've got pictures up. Are you going to be the spokesperson?
Yes.
All right. All right, this was postponed, but we hadn't heard testimony, so let's know what's going on.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, to the members of the board. Sam Mohammed, I'm with Strategic Resources. I'm the zoning and development consultant on this project. And just to start off the bat, we're not asking for a waiver, so we will comply with the area. So the board-on-board fence will be there. So the only thing we're here for is the use variance going from local retail to general retail. And what I would point out to you, if you look at that section, automotive service station has been there, and we've asked planning for the past 15 years to look at that definition. That's not the definition as we go today. There is no service being done at that. This is basically your new corner store of the new age. And whether it's a grocery store, whether it's a supermarket, whether you're a Walmart now, whether you're a Sam's Club, whether you're a Giant Eagle, you're selling gas as an accessory use to the grocery store. The main use here is a 7,000 square foot grocery store with pumps to make it viable for the region. The family has owned this property for approximately 20 years, and when they purchased it, it was general retail. It's without their knowledge that it was changed. It looks like the notices may have went to the tenant without them getting it. And they also had a mortgage from the bank on it. Today, in these days, if that zoning change was changed, it would cause a default in the loan because of bad collateral. So that's one hardship that's created. So this is when they purchased this, it was always under the impression this was a general retail zone area. And that's where they did the development. They spent major money following the zoning and their investment. Somehow something slipped through the thing and without their knowledge it was changed. Whether what notices went out or to who it went out. We're not here to argue that, but it was definitely general retail when they owned it. If you look at Ward 2, Ward 2 is probably the one of the wards that has the least general retail zone properties in the city of Cleveland. It currently has 0.0002% general retail zoning in that district. Out of 9,000 lots, there's only 14 lots, and most of them are unbuildable that are zoned general retail. That's a hardship in itself. To say that's the only available general retail, that's why you have I was talking to a councilor about this. That's why a lot of the area is vacant and is light. There's no room for any kind of development today. These days, you need some kind of general retail, especially on the main thoroughfares and crossroads like 93rd mile is a major intersection. It's if there's no opportunity there with a building like this, I don't know what is. You have this lot has been for 5 years while Family Dollar was there. There hasn't been one take because of the zone. To do any kind of development there, and it eventually became vacant. When the city was opposed to dollar stores, The tenant knew their days were numbered and just put it on the market while Family Dollar was there. And as of today, there has been no one who's made any offers or had any interest in that parcel. So I asked the board to grant this variance. I think this is well within the board's authority. It's not contrary to the purpose and intent of the code. And if you look at the future land use of the city planning commission, this would be a permissible use in it.
And you cited 9,000 parcels?
Yes. And Ward
In Ward two.
there's 9,000 parcels and there's about 14 to 16 parcels that are zoned general retail.
Councilman, would you concur with that?
Yes, I would concur with that. We are very, very, very few, if any, businesses in my community. Few businesses are operating in my community. And I'm here to, advocate for bringing this corner alive and trying to save this corner, keep something there viable for our community. I'm not sure about everybody else's community, but it's a struggle in our community just to buy a cup of coffee, just to get some toilet paper in a lot of instances. And it's because the zoning, in large part, the zoning, it is almost impossible for business to come into our community and operate effectively. So I'm here today to advocate and be pro-business for my community. And I want a business in my community that's sustainable, that my residents can patronize and fulfill some of their basic needs of their family.
Thank you. Sir, can you elaborate for us what the nature of the store is going to be? Because it sounds to me you likened it to other major retailers that are very grocery store centric, that are selling gas as a secondary operation. So I'm wondering if you can explain that for
This
us.
would fall in between the big supermarkets and the small. If you look at the history, your corner stores where your open pantry, your Dairy Mart, your convenience food mart, if you look at them today, they're gone or they sell gas. Open pantry and Dairy Mart have become Circle K. You can't find a Circle K without gas today. There are no corner stores. The only corner stores that exist, today's new corner store is your gas station. They have 3,000 square feet or 3,500 square feet of groceries. And to be able to be viable in the neighborhood, they have to sell gas. Anyone else in the city, I mean, I challenge the planning commission to show me what retail outlet that's in the 3,000 to 4,000 square foot or even 7,000 square foot could really operate without selling that. That's the new grocery store. It's not a service station by definition.
Right, but what I'm asking is if you will expand on what the nature of the grocery store operation is. If you're pitching us that it's gonna be a grocery store,
This is a
we
grocery.
wanna know what
Yes.
kind of grocery store it's gonna be.
This is gonna be an independent grocery store where they're gonna have fruits, vegetables, and to sell your everyday items. They're not gonna be the size, they're not gonna be the size of Giant Eagle apparently, but they're gonna be able to provide the neighborhood with a little larger store than your corner store.
Okay, so we're gonna have produce, we're gonna have dairy.
You're gonna have dairy, you're gonna have produce, you're gonna have all your everyday, and probably some hot foods also.
Okay, carry out food.
Yes, Karen.
Okay, all right. Because here's the situation, we have we often have people before us that want to put in gas stations with the idea that it's going to be the outlet for people to be able to come buy food. And usually what happens is it's less about the gas station and the people in the community really need the outlet for food and daily staple. So, and I'm sure that you have vetted them with regard to that because you want to make sure that this business is going to fulfill the needs of your constituents and the people that are, because we know we have an issue with, food deserts and people being able to access on an easy basis without use of cars or public transportation, just to be able to get their basic needs, baby formula, toilet paper, cereal, milk, eggs, those sorts of things. So I just want to make sure that we're getting on the record that this is going to be the nature of that business.
That's good. And Madam Chair, also the industry, as most gas stations don't make, some of it is a lost leader on gas, it's just to bring people in, just like a lot. not a lot of money.
Something
being-
went wrong.
There's not a lot of money being made on gas, whether it's a big gas station or not. If you don't have the store to do it, it's, and to drive the business through, you're not gonna be able to survive with these small booths and just selling gas. Those are outdated and probably, I would say they're a dinosaur and a dying breed. They'll not be able to survive in today's,
Okay, all right. Councilman, would you like to respond to my question?
Well, you hit it right on the head. It is my hope that we have a consistent retailer who provides outlet for people to buy baby formula, cereal, food items, things that you have to go to a regular general retail store to get, that you cannot get at corner stores that we have there now. We have very little corner stores on that strip, if any at all. I can think of one that's been there for duration, but we are in desperate need of general retailers who offer those items that you just mentioned. Now, the gas, as you mentioned, is something to bring the folks into onto the property. That's just a draw. He needs to be successful long-term in this location. But this location was designed from the outset to be a general retail operation, and to provide the community with resources and products that they can use in their everyday life.
Right, thank you. All right, now, you gentlemen are the owners, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna start with you, sir, Mr. Ali. Okay, give us your statement, please. Tell us what you plan to do with this parcel.
So,
You're gonna have to speak up because we only have this one mic here in the center.
okay, so we try to make like, you know, the supermarkets, you know what I'm saying, bring all the product, you know, we're talking about the milk, the eggs, the cereals, all the grocery items, fruits, you know what I'm saying, like vegetables, and try like, you know, bring some dollar general stuff like, you know, like napkins, everything like the house needs, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, hopefully like, you know, we need to bring like, you know, the hot food in also to make like, you know, like some other foods like salads and stuff like that.
Okay,
Like
so I imagine what you're talking about in terms of hot food, you're gonna have like some fried chicken carry out,
fried chicken.
some subs,
We're gonna use
some
like,
pizza slices.
yeah, pizza slices, yes, like all the, like this general foods, that's like on the hot side, I like the hot food. But in general, like we have like at least like 2 to 3 shelves is just full of like groceries, foods, cereals, you know, milks, juices. We're not gonna bring no beer and wine in the store. It's
Okay,
gonna be
that's-
like fully, you know,
You anticipated a question, and I thank you for touching on that. So you're not planning on beer, you're not planning on wine, you're not planning on anything alcoholic, no hard cider, nothing like that.
nothing like that.
Okay.
So that's, yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right, we'll go to you next.
Okay, my name is Mohammed Jilali. I own this property for almost 20 years. Like Sam mentioned, we did not know or receive any notification for any zone change that during that period, that's why I'm shocked. And if the city did send notification, it probably went to the tenant to $10. And their management is confused. They don't keep any records. You know, I always go there to ask if there's any mail. They always have an attitude now with that, did not receive any email or anything like that. So we have no record for anything like that. Okay, like Sam mentioned also mentioned that we've been trying to sell this property for over 5 years actually, and we have no bite at all. Okay, and we reduced the price from here to here, almost to sell it just to cover our mortgage, to pay the bank back, and we have none. So family dollar left, okay, and we have a mortgage, and we have a property tax over $23,000 a year that we pay the state, okay? So as a citizen, you know, me and my wife, we came with an idea, okay, let's make something of it. We can't just leave it there and lose it back to the bank. And then we have to file chapter 11 or file bankruptcy. We can't do it. We work very hard in our lives to come to this point, okay, for something like this to happen. So the best thing we thought we can do with it is make it as a supermarket. I did make a lot of printout. I left them in the car. I don't know, supposed to work on the screen, as you see. This is the picture that we took yesterday. Nothing but aisles, merchandise, food, groceries, cereal, just full supermarket.
Okay.
Like my partner here mentioned, we're not gonna carry any alcohol. I don't believe in alcohol. I just want to have my clientele to be family, to come from the morning, to buy their cereal, the dairy product, the frozen product there, canned goods, whatever they need, necessary things for breakfast, and when they come home from, evening, from work, come by and make purchases and shopping for dinner, time. Okay. The thing is, I have a history of having a supermarket. I did build a supermarket back 12 years ago. Believe it or not, I only lasted 7 months. Not because it's something we did.
Where
We
was
made it on 105 on of Superior. We made it state of the art. Okay, but and the economy then was better than now. Okay, now today's economy, it needs some other sources to make this business more successful, because as everybody knows, everything nowadays is very expensive. I mean, really, doesn't it? Almost $5. I don't know why. And most people right now is, well, a lot of people right now, they're making their shoppings online. So that takes a lot of hit and a lot of effect on small business people. For me to survive in this supermarket and hire more jobs, okay, we need a lifeline. Lifeline means gas to bring more traffic in this place, to secure this place, this supermarket, to stay here for a longer term. Since we've been stuck in the store in the past 5-6 weeks, we have over 40 people that came looking for jobs. How many people can I hire? 10, 15 people? Not more than that. But with gas, it brings more revenue into the business, more traffic into the business. You have more opportunity to get more jobs. For example, we had spoke to Charlie's franchise. They like the location, but they were not sure if they want to go in there just as a supermarket. But we mentioned to them, what if we get the gas approved? They said, in that case, we are willing to spend $250,000 or a little more in that location, okay? Because now you have a foot track, okay? Also, another positive side, when you have a franchisee like that, big like that, to come in and open a Charlie's inside, okay? Branding like that, now you have more opportunity to hire another 8 to 10 people there. So you have 8 to 10 people. Now I can afford it. I can do that because now we have foot track. We have more business. We are stable. Okay. I won't be scared as right now. I'm taking a chance. I don't know how long I'm gonna stay there. Especially with this economy, as everybody knows. Look at Cleveland. CVS closed, right? It's closed. Family Dollar is leaving. There's so many big box stores are leaving. Why? Because the economy is down, and most people do their shopping online. So, I mean, that's the with no, I mean, a lot of communities right now don't have nothing. I mean, you have, and also this is not just a normal gas station. This is gas station with supermarket. We are planning to give advantage cards to our clients, to our customers. When they shop inside, just like Giant Eagle and Gitco, they go outside and save money on their gas. So, you know, it's an opportunity for us, and also to give back to the community and help the store to succeed and be more successful longer term. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
So you have an opportunity, it sounds like, to bring in a franchise?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you'll be the franchise owner?
Absolutely, ma'am.
Okay, so you'll be running it. All right, so talk to us then about hours of operation.
Yes, ma'am. I got so excited. I left that out. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm used to it.
I know the city concern or the planner or some of their concerns are violence. Okay, I understand that. There's a lot of violence in the city, which is not the store owners or any gas station or any business in the city of Cleveland. Okay, it's a major problem in all the cities all over the United States. Okay. I don't want to go in details and politician and all that stuff. That's not my concern. My concern is this location right now. We not the kind we want to open 24 hours. I don't need that. Our operation is a supermarket operation, which is from most likely from 7 to 9 or 10 p.m. and that's it. Store closes, gas station closes.
Okay. So you're planning on opening at 7.
7 to 9 or
Alright.
10 in the evening.
All right. So I think what we'll do, because typically what we do, and this is pending approval, of
Yes,
course.
ma'am.
What we do with hours of operation is we tend to give you a little bit of cushion. Because obviously, if you're planning to open at 7, you'll need staff in there prior.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll say that you're gonna be 6. And then you will close at 10, but we'll give you a cushion to get staff to vacate from us.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll give you until 11,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? With your actual hours being 7 to 10,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
On the other hand, as for us not bringing any alcohol in the establishment, that's also will reduce the violence. Because you will have a different clientele,
Right.
More families. That's what we
Right.
target. We wanna have working life or families, to come in and feel free to
Right.
shop around the store and make their purchases.
So talk to us about the number of people that you potentially can employ.
Right now, as a supermarket, we have 8 to 10 people right now on record that we about to hire. That's if everything goes well with the supermarket. I'm not talking about the gas. Right now, I don't know if I'm gonna get approved or not.
Right.
But that's now. If the store will succeed and be successful, of course, we'll hire more. But if the store doesn't do the numbers that we project to cover our overhead, then most likely we're gonna reduce the employment. Okay, I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
But with gas, that gas brings more traffic. It keeps the place studying. It keeps, it will have better chance to be successful in the store. Also, it makes franchisee, it makes the location more attractive for franchisee like Charlie's to come in and invest a $250,000 or more. If you look at any Charlie's in the mall or anywhere in the gas station, they have between 8 to 10 people working between 2 shifts from the morning and the evening time. So you have 8 to 10 people just in that hot food place, in that restaurant right there. Okay, so you have 10 families are feeding their families from that just franchisee. Then also, when you have gas, bring more revenue, more traffic, then will hire more people into the supermarket. So, I mean, the more traffic you have, the more, you have more opportunity to hire people. I mean, it's common sense. I mean, if the store is not doing well, you cannot hire more people,
Right.
And if the store is doing excellent, of course, you hire more people. I can't do all the job on myself or my partner. You have other people like that.
To do like one-stop shop, basically. They get the gas, they get their groceries,
Should
everything
talk about
they
employment.
So,
Yeah, I know.
so you're planning right?
Just for the record, should we have the gentleman that just spoke, state his name?
Yes.
My name?
The other Mr. Ali.
Zaki, Z-A-K-I.
Thank you. Okay. So at this point, you're anticipating 8 to 10 employees for the grocery store. Should you get the gas, should you get the franchise, you have the potential of adding another 8 to 10 employees.
Yes, ma'am, not more. Yes,
And,
ma'am.
and at least 2 shifts, probably 3
Yes, ma'am.
with that. Okay. All right, so potentially we could be up to 30 employees.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, speak to me about how you're gonna handle security, exterior cleanliness, the number of children that might be in the store. How are you gonna handle all of that?
I'm sorry, what do you mean exactly? Let's talk about let's take one thing at a step. Okay,
Right.
security.
Security.
Okay, we have a company that we already talking to after we open up, that would stay in the parking lot after closing hours to monitor the location overnight, that we come in the morning.
All right, so
It's
you'll
just-
on-site overnight
Yes.
security, physically, like, security officer
Uniform
in
and
the
the car,
car.
yes, yeah, they have their own sign stickers, they just sit there.
All right,
you know.
so after-hour security
Yes, ma'am.
and probably cameras in the store.
We have over 40 cameras we just installed, and they all two-way, and they're connected to our phones and the main base.
Okay. All right, and how are you gonna handle like, minors, the number of minors in the store at one time?
I mean, look, this is a supermarket, not a convenience store. Okay, where
Right.
people go inside, buy cigars and cigarillos and tobacco, stuff like that. You have more people going into a gas station that sell that products than come to the store where you can buy vegetables and fruits. Okay?
So you're not gonna sell tobacco either?
Uh,
Tobacco product?
we, not up that scale. Some,
The basic.
a few basic things.
I don't know what the basic things are. I'm not a smoker, so.
If you go to a big store or a gas station, you probably have from maybe 30 feet of tobacco.
Right.
Okay, maybe that's probably like 60 to 70 different kinds, or maybe 100 different kinds, okay? Our intention is to maybe have 6 or 7 products. That's it.
Cigarettes.
Limited. Cigarette, maybe 2, 3 kinds, brand.
Okay.
Limited, something limited. I'm not trying to buy the youth or the underage
Okay.
to my establishment. They can more than welcome to come in and buy milk, one for their moms and dads, that's fine, they get grandmothers, but that's, I'm not trying to buy, they can go across the street or up the street, to buy that products.
Okay.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I see
Yes.
Shannon Leonard, your hand raised.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Leonard.
Yeah, Madam Chair, the zoning code doesn't regulate the types of retail products sold at this location.
Right.
Just wanted to put that on the record.
Right.
That the zoning code doesn't have an effect on that, and anything regarding alcohol sales will be dictated by the state.
Right.
That
We're
was
just
outlawed in
curious.
1963.
We just were trying to get public statement from the owners. So,
Understandable, I just wanted to put that on record. Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you for that clarification. All right, so we have hours of operation, we have the number of employees. Talk to us about where you're gonna have the parking. And how you're gonna handle those people that are, filling their tanks, but also wanna go in and shop. Because I could see the potential in this situation where people leaving their to go in and shop, and their cars could be sitting at the pump for, an extended period of time.
Madam Chair, if I could, we met the city's requirements for parking, for a side store like this, so that's not a violation.
Including employee
Yes,
parking.
yes, that's all
All right.
included in the review.
Okay,
They go by square foot, stuff like that. And if we need some space, we buy an off lot to let parking for employees to park there if it becomes a problem.
okay, excellent. Okay. All right, public comment. Do we have anyone who's opposed to this?
King Gray, speaking, am I allowed to speak?
Let me do the gallery first,
Go ahead.
okay? Do I have anyone opposed to this that's in the gallery?
No.
No. All right, then we'll begin in the back. Mr. Livingston? Do you want to make it very briefly, because we have a lot of you with us today, and we've had extensive testimony so far. But if you want to, thank you, Mr. Livingston. When you make your statement, if you'll follow Mr. Livingston's example and just stand, make your brief statement.
For the record, Andrew Livingston. I am just new to the area. I met Mr. Ali. I am also unemployed. This will possibly give me a place to work. I'm also, one who buys groceries. A single man, perfect location. I'm right behind the store. I believe it's a beautiful proposal, and I would hope that council will pass it.
Great, thank you. All right. I think Charles is next. Is Charles asleep?
Yeah. You want to say something about the
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
If you'll stand, Charles, and state your name.
Yeah, Charles again. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, about the
It's an early Monday morning after Thanksgiving, so
Yeah.
forget it.
Yes, sorry for the inconvenience, but
That's
yeah, the area, the gas station, honestly, I think we actually really do need a gas station in this area as a grocery store too, because I stay around the area, there's not really a spot that we can go get at least like fresh produce or anything like that. Let alone like just anything, like nice if it's a cold cuts or cold food or anything like that, it's a great area too. And also the area behind it on the Warner side has nothing up here. Once at 6 o'clock at night, they have to come over around on that side over that way just to even go to the store. So it's like I believe it'd be good for the neighborhood to have that.
All right, super. Thank you very much. Okay, I think Mr. Ricardo is next.
Ricardo Hawkins. I want to speak on, because yesterday I went and I talked to the owner of the store and I saw the store and I was happy with what I saw. The pricing was good and it's something that we need in our neighborhood, because he was talking about putting a laundromat there. There's no laundromat by us, and he's right, there's no close store to us. You know what I'm saying? That we need to go get our stuff at a decent price, and I like the prices in there, and it was close to my house where I could walk to, because I stay on beach. So if I don't have my car, I can walk there. So
Yeah.
that's good for the neighborhood.
Excellent, okay. And you raised a good point about the pricing.
Yes,
So
pricing
You're
is
not, you're not price gouging.
Oh, no.
We put everything, we were somewhat less compared to everything else. I mean,
Okay.
all we're trying to do is make a living, live and let live money, that's it.
Okay, all right. And while we're on the topic of pricing, I'm assuming you're gonna take, SNAP and EBT and things
Yes,
like
ma'am.
that.
Well, that's another thing we don't have.
All right.
We don't have any.
Reverend, I believe you're next.
Hello, my name is Reverend Tracy Bush, and I've also talked with not only the owners and been there, but I've also talked with some of my clergy members in the community. And they are looking forward to something like this taking place. They are really excited about it, and we want to just thank them for being able to come into the community and make this kind of investment. And I'd also like to mention that this is a veteran back here also, who's looking for to be employed. So we have a mixture of a lot of individuals who are really behind this, and we really would like for this to happen. And the sooner it happens, the more we can develop more positive avenues. I have a 24-hour stop and gun violence project that I run right now that is free to the public. And, I talked with them, they are so excited about getting things up and running so that they can help contribute more to this, so we can end on that. So we are really right now on the forefront of doing some great things in the community, and I like for to be a part of it, and I like for the city to join in it, because we could use this extra income coming in, since we're also losing this income from the football organization leaving us. So what we have planned is to help decrease crime, so possibly one day we can start laying off some of the police officers, unfortunately. And that's all I have to say.
Good point, Reverend. Great, thank you. All right. I think Mr. Milton, next.
No, I agree with this, gas station and little grocery store like Tycoon, because there isn't very many stores around the whole entire facility area that we're living, right there on Warner, Miles. You have one gas station and maybe a 4 or 5 mile radius, and that's the Valero on Kensington on 93rd. And they're open for 24 hours, but they don't have much there. I mean, the prices are kind of high. So I'm thinking if we get that gas station right there and the little dollar store, that the community will be able to, source out better right there. Because instead of having to go a mile for a gas station, maybe they'll have like a little tire shop. You never know, change tires, oil. You never know. I mean, you really do need this. I've lived there for a while, there's only been one gas station. So the entire area. And we really do need it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Milton. Appreciate it. Nadia?
I don't know what to say.
No statement at this time? Okay, that's fine. Okay. Tanya?
I don't have much to say because everybody pretty much covered everything that I wanted to say.
Yeah.
That it's not too much in the area.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're in support?
Yes, I am.
All right, super. All right, Francis? With your pretty coat on?
Thank you. I'm here to support Mr. Alvin. I have a brother-in-law who lives in the Seniorville. And I have to go over there and take him to the store several times. And then I have a niece that lives right there the street, and she says all the time she wishes it was something close by that she could just walk and get her little items, personal items and stuff, and not depend on somebody coming and take them. So I think it would be a good thing. And then I have a son, a handicapped son here. He'd be willing to call him on the train and do little jobs, because when handicapped people tend to not want to hire them or something, and they have the ability to do little things around the store. This would be something that would be good for him to do, you know, so he can make a little change. So I really think it's gonna be a great idea. You know, I'm to put it all the way.
And who is this little guy to you?
This is my, foster little boy, I call him my grandson.
All right,
And so,
excellent.
you know, for the children in the neighborhood too. Because I work with young children, and it would be feasible if they want to just walk to the store, you know, or the teenagers get stuff for the seniors, or the grandmother, or the mother, you know. And so it would be very good, because if nothing is, and it would be really good, and I hope it passes.
All right,
Really do.
thank you so much. All right, I have Mr. Handy. Mr. Handy, did you want to make a statement?
Oh, no.
All right, you're in support though.
All right, thank you.
All right, super. All right,
Mr. Head.
I think we've got everybody then. All right, Mr. Gray, as representative of the city planner for the area.
So basically, we just want to know like what the hours of operation are going to be, and then also we want to propose a condition that if this is approved today, that the owner will have to come through the design review to get the best design possible. So you know, to mitigate some of the other issues like traffic, distance to other gas stations, and things of that nature. And also, we wanted to align with the new New Point Development Master Plan that they released over this past summer, and things of that nature. That's it.
Excellent. Okay, well, we covered hours of operation. So there are hours that they're planning to operate are 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. We're gonna give them a cushion on either side of that. So we'll give them 6 a.m. to open and 11 p.m. and up until 11 p.m. to vacate. So, we covered that. You raised the issue about the new Miles Corridor development. And so have you not had a discussion with these folks about what they're planning is gonna fit into that,
When it came to design review originally over the summer, it was tabled until now. I won't really dig into those details at the why, but just moving forward, we would like this to align with Union Miles, New Point Development.
right?
We'll work with you and make sure we have.
No, Mr. Ali, you can't speak without being recognized, and you have to state your name if you speak. So I will recognize you, state your name for the recorder,
So,
just state your name.
my name is Mohammed Ali.
Okay,
Yes.
now you can make comments, Mr. Gray.
Mr. Gray, I will, if we get approved today, okay, I will work with you from A to Z, whatever the design that the city requires and the image and all that, and I'll be more than happy to do that. And all the requirements, so it's fine. So everything can fit and look the same.
Okay, and that, as Mr. Gray, as representative of city planning for this area, has requested that should we pass this, you going to design review and getting approved by design review, whatever changes might be necessary, that would be a condition. And if you need to, submit updated drawings based on what design review requests, that'll be a condition as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, all right. Mr. Bay, anything additional?
The only addition I have is that you, Madam Chair, is that if you will, please just clarify the days of the week and the hours in the motion.
Okay, excellent. All right, we did not cover days of the week. I'm assuming you're gonna do 7 days.
7 days. ma'am.
7
Yes, ma'am.
days, all right,
Since we're not 24 hours, 7 days. should be
okay. All right, and it sounds like you've got a couple of potential employees in the room,
Yes, ma'am, yes.
so,
Look, yesterday, I was inside the store with the police stocking all these items. I got a knock on the door. So they're not, no. The wife and husband, okay, they asked me for jobs. I said, honey, we already told, okay. She said, well, can you take my husband? Then the husband says, no, can you take her? They were arguing, disputing with each other. I said, listen, if I get, we're gonna do something nice here. If my plan goes well, we can have a franchising here, then you can take a shift and your wife can take a shift.
okay,
So you can hire someone at this time.
all right, all right. The councilman has left, Mr. Bay, but it seems to me there might be the opportunity for, who's the CDC for this area?
New Point Development.
Okay, all right. For them to maybe help with some screening and some proper job preparation for folks in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
If you wanna,
You guys talk.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I want to facilitate that. I'm sorry.
Why couldn't you, Mr. Gray?
Mr. Gray, we're down to one mic, so court reporter just needs you to speak up a little bit.
She asked what the CDC was, and I said New Point Development. And then I asked for the owners to get in contact with New Point's Development.
All right. Let's facilitate, giving him the contact information and who he should speak to. And, if you would be point person on that, Mr. Gray, and just have that work with the owners. So that let's use this as a community development opportunity so that folks can put together a resume and, be prepared for, job seeking. So that they're sort of pre-vetted to help these folks out. Okay? All right. Questions from the board? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss you?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
George Emmanuel Palmer for the record, it's a nice general area. Parking area change is a different attention to the neighborhood, not to get my support.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. That's Mr. Palmer. All right. Ms. Holzer, questions?
For the record, I think I heard, Mr. Mohammed state that section 343.14 around the fence, that's being resolved, so a board on board fence is being.
We'll comply with the board on board.
Right. So, Mr. Bay, that means that number 2 is no longer necessary, correct?
Correct, I believe you'd make it, in your motion that a new site plan would be submitted.
Right. So let's just run down, I don't know who's gonna craft this motion, but, that number 2, design review is a requirement. New site plan, anything that is necessary of changes, as requested by design review needs to be submitted. That would include a new site plan to reflect the fencing, since there's going to be a compliance for 343.14A, number 2. So that is not something we have to approve today. So we're looking at number 1, hours of
Madam
operation.
Chair,
Yes,
to clarify, they still need number 2. The location with respect to the zoning districts are that they
Okay.
meet, that if they're within 100 feet, they would need to provide a solid board-on-board wood fence of at least 6 feet, no repair within 10 feet of the residence district, and no service bay or garage door oriented towards a garage, towards a resident district, no matter which way they put these, the bays of the fuel pumps, they're going to be facing a residence.
okay, all right,
So they still need number 2.
all right.
But, and then additionally, they're already located in the design review district, so they would need to go back through city planning regardless.
All right, okay, great. Did you get all of that? All right, great, all right. You broke up or, went in and out just a little bit, Ms. Leonard, so I wanted to make sure court reporter got that. All right, so number 2 is still on the table. Excuse me, all right. And hours of operation, and 7 days a week. All right, did you get all that? All right, Ms. Roca.
Madam Chair, the only question I have based on Ms. Leonard's comment is that they would no longer need a new site plan or condition for a new site plan because they will already have to go to design review and they still need the second variance. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's the second variance. But we will need them to submit, new site plans for, our records after they see city planning.
Okay. Thank you. I'm prepared to make a motion whenever we're ready.
Well, let's see if Ms. Wilson has anything she wants to ask.
I'm all set, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right, super.
Madam Chair, I do have a letter from Councilman Bishop, just for the record.
Okay.
He, as Ward Two Councilman, he's writing to express his strong support for the request to ease the rigorous application and zoning section 343.01(1) and 343.14A. These constraints are currently impending development in this area, impeding development in this area, hampering economic progression and job creation. By easing these regulations, we can create a more vibrant and sustainable community that better serves the needs of our residents and businesses. He urges the board to consider his request to grant the necessary relief. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, that was correspondence from the council person. Council was present with us, but had to leave, so we have that testimony. Is there anything else? I can't tell.
Madam Chair.
Oh,
Could Xavier
Shannon,
bring up,
Ms.
Madam
Leonard,
Chair, could Xavier please bring up the standard so that when the board member forms their motion, they could be very specific.
super, thank you. Yeah, we reminded him at the beginning, so but
Thank
we're
you.
at that point now. Thank you, Mr. Bay. No laughing, Mr. Grice. All right. All right, Ms. Roca, if you want to craft it, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Based on the testimony that we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 24-146 with a condition that the appellant provide an updated site plan once those plans are available, pending approval by design review committee, and that those site plans will be in the record.
Okay,
Yeah, with operation.
okay.
I would second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second with a friendly amendment that the hours of operation, the actual operation hours are going to be 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. We're allowing them to access the premise 6 a.m. and will be vacated by 11 p.m. And that will be 7 days a week. Just to note that we do not have, it's not within our purview, but the owners have stated that there will be no sale of alcohol and limited tobacco sales as well. All right. We'll call the vote, please, Ms. Cooper.
Or Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Bates.
Yes.
Calendar 24-146 is granted conditionally. We will hold ratification until we receive that updated drawing. Once we receive it, we will ratify it that following Monday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. And gentlemen, we never approved this, hardly ever, for a gas station. Never. So this is a big deal. And thank you, everyone, for coming. We really appreciate you making the trek to City Hall on a Monday morning.
Appreciate you too, man. Let's get some food while I'm here.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you. This.
I'm gonna have them at
I don't want to shake your hand. I'm sick, so I'm not gonna shake your hand. Thank you so much.
Close to the house, I ain't gotta worry about it.
Excellent job.
You got her one?
But you know what? All right, moving on. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready? Do you want to just hang there or do you want to come to the front? Okay.
I checked some emails while I was here. That's good.
Productive use of your downtime.
Yeah.
That took a minute. All right, we're on to calendar number 24-195.
Our next case is calendar number 24-195. This is at 2465 East 71st Street. Robert Grant, owner, proposes to construct a 125-foot tall wireless telecommunication monopole in a semi-industry district. The owner appealed for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are two. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Hoser. I'll go ahead and swear in all who are present for this matter. I'll start with the person at the table. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. My name is Richard A. Starr, Councilman, Cleveland City Council Ward 5, address is 6001 Lakeside.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter?
Yes, Jesse Stiles.
Okay, and do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Jesse Stiles, Jassestyles. Address is 815 Superior Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114.
Perfect, thank you so much. Is there anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Great. Mr. Stiles, are you representing the owner?
I am the owner. I'm president, CEO of North Star Towers. Robert Grant is one of my attorneys, but I'm presenting today. I apologize, I couldn't be there in person. I live in Lake County and we're fairly snowed in.
All right. He's the owner. Are we good with any correspondence or
Yes, we are.
documentation? All right, super. All right, we'll go to history of the property now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We didn't find any records in our records room, and we did not find anything in the more recent history. There are also no variances on file for visitors.
Okay, super. All right, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, appellant is requesting area variances from the minimum distance and height requirements of the zoning code. To obtain area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variances will not be contrary to purpose and intent. So,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Mr. Stiles.
Madam Chairwoman.
Brings us to you. So if you want to tell us what you want to do as it relates to the variance.
Absolutely. Yes. We are very sorry. I'm struggling a little with the audio, so I hope you can hear me okay.
You're good.
We are very proud to present this project before the Board of Zoning Appeals for what we feel does a great job in helping to bridge the digital divide that is occurring in parts of Cleveland. This project, I'll give you a brief history of how we got before you today. This started with a project that was initiated by one of our customers, Verizon Wireless. They identified a significant gap in their network coverage and capacity in the area generally bounded by Quincy, Woodland, East 71st, and East 79th. So they issued what's called a search area map for us to locate a property that we could potentially construct a wireless communication facility to help them improve their network service in that very small area. It's very important to note that in today's wireless world, cell sites cover anywhere from about a mile to a mile and a half square. So they have to be located within extremely small areas. Additionally, the existing site count is much higher than, say, 30 years ago in the early days of wireless. So we are very much constrained by the existing sites and by the very small search areas that we are given by our wireless customers, in this case, Verizon. An additional complication for us was the Opportunity Corridor, which was also a driver for the service improvement and the challenges by Verizon, but it also presented a problem that some of the property owners we approached, frankly, were sitting on properties that they had speculated and were trying to extract substantial sums that were completely unreasonable for the properties that they had failed to get the state of Ohio or other entities to basically to purchase their properties that they had speculated on. So that would include a property to the northeast of the railroad tracks. We also approached a trucking terminal company that was to the south of that. And unfortunately, the family of the owner was very willing to do it, but his larger family decided that they did not want to lease to us. So having failed on the two properties that would meet zoning setbacks within the very small search area issued by Verizon, I then contacted City Hall and spoke with city planning staff to see, just to reach out. Is there some guidance you could give us within this difficult small area? Knowing how rigorous the zoning review is within the city and how diligent the staff is there any property, knowing the totality of the challenges we're facing and our end goal to work particularly on digital divide, is there a property that you think you might be willing to support? The city steered us to the Arts Foundry project, which you may be aware of, which Jay Shorey, the owner, has been working on for several years. The city expressed to us that it could be a win-win, that we could provide him some revenue to help him further his project that the city at the time was very supportive of and thought it could make sense for both of us to collaborate. I did that. We have a lease in place with Mr. Shorey in the Foundry District. We then subsequently filed to Planning Commission. We had 2 hearings there. We worked extremely closely with Director Wang, Kim Scott, and Kenya Gray to revise the site plan after the first Planning Commission hearing. We lowered the proposed structure height from 175 feet all the way down to 125 feet. And we moved the project location from one parcel to on the very south end of the Foundry project, well to the north, to keep it away from multifamily district to the south. So at this point, the only relief we are respectfully requesting is to the west, which is a cemetery that has dual zoning with a residential tag on it. So we are not looking for relief from any habitated structures or at this time. In fact, I'd like to note for the record that our requirement is 375 feet based on the lower height. We exceeded with a setback of 1,453 feet to the east, 614 feet to the south, and 651 feet to the north. We are 238 feet to the property line to the west, which is a cemetery, which has no proposed future residential habitation on that large parcel. We feel that this is an essential public service. This site will be available for all wireless service providers to locate their equipment on, whether that might include AT&T, T-Mobile, or Dish someday. Additionally, the City of Cleveland's public Wi-Fi we would be pleased to have them be a tenant on the tower. It is our main motivation to get as many wireless service providers on our structures as possible. And we have many structures that have multiple tenants on them. This would not just be for Verizon's use. I would like to respectfully point out for those of you on the board that we have strong support from the ward Councilman Richard Starr. We proactively had this as part of a very large public meeting overall with the Foundry Arts Project and my project last year at a local church in the ward, very close to the project. And I'd say there were probably around 80 or so people there, 80, 85. Mr. Gray was in attendance there at that meeting as well. And I'd like to note for the record that there was no opposition to the cell tower. The wireless communication facility was clearly noted and discussed, and frankly, folks were anecdotally pleased to have service improvement in the area. With that, Planning Commission did approve the project. I am here happy to collaborate with you. If there's further comment or questions, I'm happy to answer those for the members of the board, and I respectfully request your approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sykes. Okay, Councilman.
Yes.
Statement.
No, just for my statement on, as you know, the history over in this area, no development has possibly taken place since the early 1920s. If you're also familiar with the area, most of the property adjacent in that close area is public housing estates, and most of those estates were built during a time when technology was not a thing in the city or even in the country or even in the world. So I think from the moment that I've met with Jesse Styles, as well as other partners and other developers in the neighborhood, we held that meeting with about 80 folks there. Everyone was in support of this opportunity. What I believe is, these towers can definitely help with that digital divide. We know that we've had a city council pass in 2023 on the $20 million ARPA request with Digital C to do different things as far as getting people connected to wireless internet, and adding another tower into the neighborhood can possibly be an opportunity for us to be able to get to our goals when it comes to a digital divide. So I am glad to support this project. I've been working with Jesse Styles, as well as his team, just to get the understanding of what the community wants to see. And I believe this is something that we should be able to do. Also, I've been able to work and connect with City Planning Department, Director Joyce, Shannon, who is my expert on zoning, to making sure everything is in compliance. And some of the things that came back is to make sure the tower wasn't too tall and bring it back to a different height width. I believe it went from 150 to about 25 or 50 feet. Don't quote me on the actual numbers, but I know that was one of the main concerns. But also understanding what this would do as far as development. Like I said, I grew up on 66 in Woodland. No, I am not that younger, but I do not recall any development coming into this area, and I believe this project can really help us with some different opportunities to think the project.
And you anticipate that this is gonna enhance the connectivity
Yes.
for the residents, particularly those in the housing.
For the house.
Yeah, that's immediately adjacent there.
Yes, it will.
Okay, all right. I think that goes to educational opportunities, work opportunities.
Oh, definitely, because you, right in there, you have, King Kidney Public Housing, then you have also a couple different graveyard sites. Then we got the community, and we have a senior facility as well. So it's talking about that connectivity is something important. I know when I go down that area from 71st to 66, I see my phone go from 5 bars to about 1 bar, 1.5 bar. That's just on my cell phone. So imagine other folks' cell phone. You know, I've been mad at T-Mobile since they merged with Sprint. But just one of those things that we just really, really believe, like, if this is opportunity to kickstart or get more internet activity, connectivity to people connected in with the initiative of the door-to-door campaign, with Digital C, which I support. I think this can be a wonderful opportunity.
Okay. And the immediate neighbors, it sounds like, are the residents that are in the cemetery.
Yep.
So.
So from New Community, residents from New Community, which is adjacent right across the street of this location, they were in support right off of Woodland, and then also residents from King Kennedy Public Housing, and those few residents that stayed on Beaver was there as well. So we had a nice crowd, nice amount of people that live adjacent and close proximity of this project at that meeting, where they all were thrilled and excited about this opportunity.
Excellent, excellent. That's great. That was like the community meeting has happened and we've had good engagement. Sounds like that was excellent. Mr. May, Mr. Gray's left us, so I'm guessing you're gonna be the person to make the comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay representing City Planning. As was mentioned, this applicant has received conditional use approval from City Planning Commission. And there were previous meetings that we had with the applicant to adjust the size of the tower and location to increase the distance and proximity to other residential districts. So all that to say, we recommend approval.
Okay, excellent. Any questions from the board? Ms. Holzer, Ms. Wilson, anything?
I'm all set, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Would you like to craft a motion on this? All right.
I move approval of calendar number 24-195.
All right, could I have a second, please?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Ms. Kugel, if you'll call the vote.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer? Yes. Ms. Big?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-195 is granted. It will be ratified next Monday, and we will send the opponent letter.
Super, thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Y'all have
Thanks
a
for spending-
great one. No problem.
Thanks for spending the morning with us.
Oh, yeah, I got through 120 emails.
Nice. Look at you being all productive.
Got spades on.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of
All
the day.
right, thank you. All right, no other council?
Correct, Madam Chair, I do not see any of the council online or in the room.
Super. All right, we will move back to the top of our agenda, calendar number 24-186.
Our next case is calendar number 24-186. This is at 2032 West 26th Street. I'm assuming it's AHA or AHA Market House LLC owner proposes to construct a 3-story apartment building with 11 dwelling units in a 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 4. Just to note that this case was rescheduled from November 18th due to an error in the adjudication. The original letters did not include the information underlined in, I believe that was section 337.3A.
All right.
With that, I'll hand it over to Ms. Wilson, please.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'll go ahead and swear in all who are present for this matter. I don't see anyone in the room. Is there anyone online present for this case?
Do we have
Yes.
Okay.
Wesley.
Okay, I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Wesley Harper, Westleigh, Harper, Harper, and my address is 812 Huron Road East, Suite 305, Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll go to you next. I can see your hand raised. James, please swear in.
My name is James Asimus, representing AHA Market House. My name is JamesAsimes. My address is 4321 Lorraine Avenue, Suite A, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113.
Okay, thank you so much. Anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, I can see a screen name by the name of MRN. If you would like to please go ahead and swear in.
Sure. My name is Joe Delray. We are a owner of the neighboring property at 2615 Lorraine and 2036 West 26th Street.
Okay, and do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you so much. Anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter?
Yes. Hello, my name is Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do affirm.
Okay, and can you state your name, spell your name, and give your address?
My name is Daniel Sirk, S-I-R-K. My address is 1322 Sumner Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44115.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Can we have history of the property, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1946, a permit was issued to erect a private garage. 1949, a permit was issued to erect a new chimney with clean outdoor. 1965, a permit was issued to erect a chain link fence. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history.
Super. Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the maximum gross floor area, required rear yard, and interior side yard requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property right, and that granting variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning.
Super, thank you. Mr. Harper, I'm assuming you're going to be the spokesperson?
I will, yes, but I believe Mr. Asimus will be chiming in as well from time to time.
All right, Mr. Simmons, your role in this project?
I am the owner and representative of AHA Market House.
Okay.
Not sure if we have the whole design package in here that includes renderings. We can maybe click a couple pages down.
Go ahead, Mr. Bay.
Through the chair, sorry, I do not actually have those extra slides in the presentation. I just have what you see on the screen.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, well, Madam Chair, thank you for having us this morning. We've been working with AHA Market House for the better part of a year on this project. To give you a little bit of background of where we are in the approval process, we have been through the Neighborhood Block Club. I believe we received a letter of support that has been forwarded to your attention. We have also been to the Near West Design Review Committee, where we received schematic approval. And we've also received schematic approval from the City Planning Commission. When this project started, we obviously understood that this is a small property in a two-family district, but we think that the development that's going to be occurring on either side of us and along Lorraine Avenue in general would be something more in line with what we're showing here today. And with that, we've been working with the zoning administrator on putting together a zoning package that we think could be a nice kickoff for future development on this block and along Lorraine Avenue. So with that said, we worked with the zoning administrator to get a mapped setback for this block, including property or two south of Keene Court, to allow this very kind of development. This site plan for this building was what kind of instigated that mapped setback, again, to kind of instigate more of this kind of development on West 26th Street, which has been supported by the Block Club, as much as any Block Club that I've seen support a project. So a little bit of background there, but we'll start off at the top left here with the existing site plan, which is essentially just a vacant parcel. I believe it's 30 feet wide by 120 feet deep. To the north of us, we have an existing surface parking lot. And then to the west of that, you can see it labeled 2621 Lorraine Avenue. The lot behind the existing structure is currently vacant, but there will be an addition to that structure that essentially creates a zero lot line along the northern property line of this West 26th Street property. Further west, we have the Hansa Haas Brewery, and the owner of that property also owns the property directly to our west, and he has expressed support for essentially redeveloping the properties around him. To our south, we have another surface parking lot. Both parking lots, as was mentioned, are owned by MRN. And so the thought is that eventually there would likely be new development on either side. Number two here, the proposed site plan, you can see that we have kind of a U-shaped structure. We have a zero lot line along the eastern property line, the northern property line, and for most of the southern property. To our west, we have a 5-foot setback that allows a small patio space for the rear apartments in the structure. The structure itself would be 3 stories. It would contain 11 apartments that are, if I remember correctly, around 550 to 650 square feet. So they would be on the smaller side to allow us to charge a somewhat moderate rent price for such a prime location, a block and a half from West 25th and Lorraine Avenue. The first floor plan, sorry if you just scroll up to the first floor plan. Again, zero lot line to the east, but we have a planter in the front to afford some privacy to that first floor unit. And then we have a bit of a courtyard, which allows natural light coming in from the southern face to get natural light and air into the interior units. So on the first floor, there's 3 units. And then on the upper levels, second and third floors, we have 4 units. All of the glazing is on the east or west facades. Since this is such a narrow lot, being 30 feet, we essentially be building a 2-hour firewall on the north and south facades along the property line. What this does is create a very or essentially meeting the 2-hour code for the building code. And then we've begun working with the fire department to assure they are comfortable with this sort of dense development we see as a starting point for some of the things around us. The glazing on the western facade, the percentage is determined by the building code and our setback from that western property line. The context, though not shown here, is generally West 25th and Lorraine. There are countless numbers of projects that have 0 lot lines. And while this is a 2-family district, we believe that the city is instigating this kind of development on the blocks that front Lorraine Avenue. And again, with these lot lines being 0, in some ways it affords potential development in the future to also do a 0 lot line against our structure and allow them to utilize more of their property. So with that, James, I don't know if there's anything specific you want to add to the presentation, but I think it would be fair to open it up to questions and comments.
Just to add as well that we had explored opportunities at maintaining more of a setback on especially the north and south property lines here, and that because the size of the lot was what it is in terms of only being 30 feet wide, it really left us with a very difficult site to work with there. And that's where we began exploring what would happen if we designed this going all the way to the lot lines, what the requirements would be there, and proceeded forward with that plan.
Okay, super. All right, Mr. Del Rey, do you have a comment?
Yes, thank you to the board for the opportunity to speak. I represent the ownership of the parcels to both the north and the south of the property here. And again, our concern is simply that having a 0 lot line, particularly on both sides, limits our ability to develop, that the full burden of the setback will later fall upon us when we come forth with a development proposal.
I'm sorry, Mr. Del Rey, what was your concern again? I'm sorry, I was
Sure.
coughing.
It's okay, it's going around.
Yeah.
We represent, or I represent rather, the ownership of the parcels on both the north and south side of the property. Our concern is that by granting the variance to allow for 0 lot lines on both sides, that the burden of the setbacks will fall fully upon our properties when we go to develop them. And it creates a burden that we will not be able to overcome.
Okay, great. All right. Mr. Bay, do you want to comment to that, or is Ms. Leonard prepared to speak to? It sounds like there's been extensive discussion about this, so.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. We're generally supportive of the project, and we are moving forward, or we have moved forward with a map change on West 26th Street to reduce the front yard setbacks. I don't really have much to say specifically to the neighboring properties. Currently, the context is parking lots, and so this proposed development does fit the context of northern side, this section of West 26th Street, as it is closer in context to West 25th, and Lorraine, we have larger, dense buildings, very residential and mixed use properties.
All right. And are you, is Ms. Leonard still with us?
She is.
All right, Ms. Leonard, it sounds like you've had some conversation with the project team about the zero lot line, and the setback issues, and the question from the neighbors is the impact of this, should we approve it on their future development being, directly adjacent? Can you speak to that for us?
Yeah, so I spoke with Mr. Harper and the development team as well as Councilman Terry McCormick regarding this property. So this section of West 26 between Lorraine and I believe Kingport is, as Xavier stated, on the west side of the street as well as the east side of the street is parking lots, and along Lorraine, most of those properties already have a zero lot line. Not only on Lorraine, but also on West 26. And so the purpose of adding that 0 foot lot line along those parking lot properties was really twofold. One, without the setback added, any proposed infill, including Mr. Harper's project, would not be able to be built in context with the existing context of the West 26th Street due to front yard setbacks being required where there is no context. So for instance, between Lorraine and the side street, there is no context. So the property would have to be set back for any type of residential, 15% of the average lot depth. And that would make this lot for residential specifically unbuildable. Same across the street, not across the street, but on this block itself, because it's between two intersecting streets. So for any other residential context within this particular block, the setback had to be added. Additionally, it should be noted that south of these parcels, most of those homes are either somewhere between a 0 foot lot line to anywhere between a 5 to 8 foot setback. And so by bringing in the specific setback, that the properties don't necessarily have to sit at 0 feet, but they can, it makes essentially those parcels buildable for residential, which was the intended purpose from the councilman as well as the local neighborhood planner.
Okay, super, thank you. Okay, Mr. Del Rey, does that help you out at all?
Well, my concern is that ownership from my company, I believe spoke with Jim before the first zoning meeting and expressed his concern, about the idea that we're generally supportive of the project. We want to see more development in the neighborhood. We love to see something on this property, but that we need to respect our lot lines and that we can't give up, a property to them. I think that's the last that we had engaged with the property owner. So, yeah, I think further discussion should be had in order to fully flesh out what we can and cannot do.
Okay, all right. I think what we'll have you do is get in touch with Ms. Leonard to clarify any potential plans you might have. Because it sounds to me if you develop your parcels, you're gonna have to exercise the 0 lot line as well. Excuse me, would you concur with that, Ms. Leonard?
No, I mean, the 0 lot line in terms of the front yard setback gives any property owner along this property a little bit larger building envelope for any type of infill development.
Okay, all right.
But
you don't necessarily have to build to 0 feet.
This is Daniel Sirk speaking on behalf of MRN. I've been as an architect, I've been working with MRN for several years, and they asked me to take a peek at this and see, if they were to develop their properties adjacent to this, what would be the encumbrance? And we also tried to design as tight as we can. I've come before this board before for a similar issue, and we were not granted any of the variances for setback. I think what Ms. Leonard was speaking to was a zero lot line setback at the front of the building, which is an urban planning concept to hold the urban edge consistently. The concern that Mr. Del Rey is pointing out is the two side yard and rear yard. It appears to me, if I'm looking at this, this building takes up every possible inch of ground that is available to the owner. So there's no setbacks proposed at all on any side. And if the board can just imagine, if my client were to build a similar structure next door with the same rights of zero lot line, that light well would become, no longer valid. So that's why the city has these restrictions for density of the property, the setbacks, and also, the height restrictions. So, again, this would limit my client's ability to develop the property because of the required setbacks. I'm not even sure. We had an issue with a project where we, in Larchmere, where the board granted us appeal, but we had to construct the building with a very skinny side lot to allow construction to happen without going onto the neighbor's property. If you can imagine foundations being built underground, they also would need to work to either property. That's why you have setbacks, so the project can be built within its own property. That's all I wanted to point out. It is not the front yard setback, it is the side yard and rear yard setback. I also wanted to question, because for my edification, how parking is not required for this property either, because it's not in a designated district for no parking.
Mr. Bay, did you or Ms. Leonard want to respond to those questions?
Madam Chair, from my understanding, it was within the transit-oriented development overlay, which.
Okay.
But that only reduces parking to 75%.
Sir, you weren't recognized. Go ahead, speak up a little bit.
Yes, and so this overlay actually reduces the need for, it doesn't require project to have minimum parking for apartments.
Okay. So it's in the TOD overlay. Can you speak to, because the zero lot line, the zero setback, they were concerned about, Mr. Cirque is correct. It's really not the front setback, it is the side and rear yard that would be at the lot line. He raises a good point in that in construction and the footers, that there is a risk when and if they develop their adjacent parcels, that they could risk damage to this project should it be existing when they decide to start construction.
Could I respond to that?
One second, please. And that it would also immediately abut their building. So can you or Ms. Leonard respond to that?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'll let Shannon Leonard go first. It looks like she did just raise her hand.
Okay, great. Ms. Leonard?
Yeah, Madam Chair, the applicant is asking for a 5-foot, they're asking for setback in the rear yard. They are proposing 5 feet.
Okay.
Off the southwestern parcel. And then in terms of the side yard setbacks, they are proposing 0 feet at this site, with the understanding that they have a to the property to the south, that parking lot. The applicant can discuss their setbacks on this particular issue.
Okay, all right. So Mr. Harper or Mr. Asimus, I believe you wanted to comment?
Yeah, on the constructability part of this, this is a slab on grade building. Our foundations would sit underneath our building and would not extend onto our neighbors' properties here. We've built buildings like this in the neighborhood and have dealt with tight conditions The block walls we're proposing here on the north and south facade are of a finished quality, which means that we don't need to go back out and finish them once construction is done with the base shell building. That limits our need to go on our neighbor's property on either side. The way that the construction of this would work, we're able to do it from our property. It was something we spent time thinking through when we went through what plans for this building would look like. And that's something that we were very attentive to and wanted to treat delicately, because we didn't want to get into a position where construction of this would require us to trespass on our neighbor's property to the north or the south. The other thing I wanted to mention here too is that we're not creating an additional burden in how we're building this from our setup on our neighbors to the north and south. If we were to go down and put a basement in this structure here, it would create an additional burden if MRN wanted to build immediately to the north or south within a tight space, where they'd have to match a deeper foundation, even if they were going on slab and not putting a basement in theirs. And so there are ways in which we could create an additional burden on MRN based on how we designed the building, but we wanted to limit that to not creating that burden at all. And so that's why we went with a building that can get designed so that it can be built without need to go on our neighbor's property, a building that'll have a finished look when it's done, that again doesn't require us to go on our neighbor's property. And we didn't create a future burden on them being able to build to the lot line by not putting a basement on this structure.
Okay, great.
Madam Chair, I just have a
Yes,
question
Roca.
in response to what the gentleman just said. Your testimony is speaking to construction of the building, but I'd also like you to speak to maintaining the building. Are you able to maintain the building with these current setbacks in the rear and side yards without disturbing your neighbor's property, whether there's a building on their property or not?
We are, and that was another thing here, that these are building this with materials, especially in the north and south, that will be low maintenance and will not create a burden on us long term either. We can maintain the property itself by staying on our property and by using the circulation within the building as our access to maintaining the property during construction and after, once it's completed and operating.
Does that satisfy your question, Ms. Rocco?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, Ms. Wilson, anything?
I'm all set, thank you.
All right, Ms. Holzer?
I don't have any questions.
All right.
Chair, I do see that the representative from MRN has his hand up, though.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Del Rey, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Question for the appellant then. What is the material type being proposed for that facade? And then second question for the zoning representative, would I be able to build up to that facade on either the north or south side?
Both good questions, Mr. Del Rey. You anticipated what I was going to ask, so thank you.
Thank you.
All
It
right.
is
Go ahead, Mr. Simmons.
the finished material is a Finnish CMU. The renderings show this a little clearer, but think of what the art museum looks like in terms of having a pattern. This would have a pattern to it as well, with using blocks of 2 different color to create some visual pattern. But we would welcome you building to the up to it from a neighbor standpoint, and anticipated that would be the case in how we designed it, by making sure all of the natural light came from within the property itself and not having to rely on that on the north or south property line.
Okay, that answers that question with regard to materials. To Ms. Leonard, did you hear Mr. Del Rey's question?
Yeah, I did. And so in terms of setbacks, in terms of building, if you wanted to build to the property line, you would need a variance as well for residential. In terms of your interior side yards, if you were fronting along West 26, there are obviously building code restrictions between needing 10 feet between buildings, but you could work with the Board of Building Standards in regards to that.
Okay.
Madam Chair, just one more thing with respect to Ms. Leonard's comment.
Right.
As it relates to the Board of Building Standards, and I think I heard the appellant's architect say earlier that fire safety is being addressed as well. I know
Correct.
that's not our purview, but I just want to make sure that, you know, these are very tight, potentially going to be very tight buildings. So just want Ms. Leonard to speak to that there's a different body that will address all those concerns, and they will be addressed should they be applicable.
Right. Good question, because that's usually my point. My concern is always the fire code, and the compliance with that.
If I may, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But if I may
Go
on
ahead.
that, we've already started our conversation with the fire department on this, knowing that we wanted to make sure that was not going to be an issue down the road. They're aware and of what we're planning here, and we've been working with them collaboratively to make sure that their concerns are addressed in how this building is designed, both up to this point and going forward.
Super, thank you. All right, are there any other questions, Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Cirque, you have your hand up?
Yes.
Literally.
Just a couple of things, because again, this impacts work that I may do elsewhere in the city. So I heard that you're using the urban form overlay, correct, for satisfying some of the issues related to this, but it doesn't seem like we're meeting all of it. The urban form overlay does not allow for parking to be reduced to zero. It specifically says 65% of the required. Again, I'm looking at section 3408.04 of the urban form overlay district ordinance. It says
Okay.
new construction minimum 65% of the total. So it does provide a relaxation, but it does not relieve that. The question to the applicant when I'm done is if they have secured shared parking with another entity, which is another concept with the urban form overlay. Second, hold on, let me give you 2 points. Is the other issue with the urban form overlay is it requires ground floor retail. And I don't see any retail proposed here. And I'm not sure if that was a variance we needed to seek when we worked in an area like this as well.
Madam Chair.
All right, yes.
Mr.
Yes,
Cirque.
I saw your hand up, Ms. Leonard. I wanted to let Mr. Cirque complete his questions. He has previous experience with seeking variances with regard to this, but I think we're getting into territory where we're answering questions based on future proposed projects, not necessarily as it relates to this one. But if you'll go ahead, Ms. Leonard.
Yeah, so Mr. Cirque has unfortunately, the overlay district that we were discussing here was passed earlier this year, back in March. It is called a transit-oriented development zone. So any property that lies within 15 minutes of a high-frequency transit station is not subject to the parking requirements of section 349. So what you are referring to for your property or your client's property is located in a pedestrian retail overlay district, which was previously, the pedestrian retail overlay district does require retail uses on the first floor outside of a conditional use through city planning. This property faces West 26, is not in the pedestrian retail overlay district, is zoned 2 family, but it is in the transit or any development zone, as is your client's property. So what that essentially means is that you're not subject to the parking requirements of 1 unit, 1 space per 1 unit under 349, but you do have to participate in the TOD program found in chapter 301 of the planning code of the Fund.
Super, thank you. To Mr. Del Rey and Mr. Cirque, it seems to me that it would be prudent for you to begin conversations with Ms. Leonard at this point, so that some of these questions and concerns you have about your future development could be addressed more directly with what your situation is going to be with the parcels that you own. Who's the planner for this?
It's Brittany for Homes here.
Okay, we're gonna, Mr. Bay is going to, put in the chat for you to capture the contact information for the city planner who is in charge of this area, so that you can reach out to her and also put in chat for, Ms. Leonard's contact, if you would, please. And we'll put in the chat the contact information for Ms. Leonard, so that you can start conversations with the planner and the zoning administrator, so that you can get some of these issues that you have clarified. Because it sounds like development for this area is going to, we've got a catalyst, and you may be looking to be moving forward sooner than later on development of your properties, perhaps. So let's get those conversations in the works. Okay, any further questions or comments from the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Wilson, do you want to take this one? If not, Ms. Roca can take it, if you would.
Sure, Madam Chair, based on the testimony that we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 24-186.
Thank you. We have had, I'll take a second.
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Ms. Holzer for the second. Mr. Harper, just to recap briefly before we go to vote. I've made notes here. You were for Block Club, Muir West, and city planning for approval, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, super. All right, so those entities have approved the project. We'll go to, call the vote, please, Ms. Kukla.
Sure. Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. B?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-186 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We'll send the appellant a letter, but please feel free to contact our office next Wednesday for further instruction.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
gentlemen. Good luck to you on the project.
Thank you.
All right, folks, I know it's been a long morning and we have a few more to go, but I have to have a quick break. You can queue up the next case, please.
That's a good burden. Appreciate the program. Oh, yeah, no, the next time.
Ready? Thank you. All right, moving on, calendar number 24-194.
Our next case is calendar number 24-194. This is at 9614 Clifton Boulevard. David Rum and Frank Ricard Jr., owner, propose to change use of an existing two-family residence to a three-family residence in an A1 one-family residential district. The owners appeal for review from the strict application of the Cleveland Map ordinances as stated in the agenda and a public record, of which there are 4. Then I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Hoser. I'll go ahead and swear in all who are present for this matter. I do not see anyone present in the room. Is there anyone online present for this?
Oh, we do have a gentleman present. Step
Yeah,
forward.
one person?
sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah,
only see
please.
half the room here. Sorry about that.
Well,
Do you,
Yeah. Step forward to the table, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Make yourself comfy, and we'll get you sworn.
My name is Wayne Britton.
Okay, raise your right hand. Ms. Wilson will recite the oath.
do you
And then
swear
you
or
respond.
affirm? Oops. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Blaine Brinton, BLAINE, BRINTON. And my address is 9612 Clifton, the property liaison suites.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else in the room wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none. Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter?
Hello, yes.
All right, I can see that you've turned your camera on. I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. David Ream, DAVID REUM, 2036 West Boulevard, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. We'll take history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. Our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1923, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling and a garage. There are no variances on file. And then in more recent history, Madam Chair, we see that in 2012, 2015, 2024, rental registration was applied for. That's all that there are no variances. I'm not sure if I stated that or not. That's all that I have. Thank you.
You have none. All right. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the maximum gross floor area and minimum combined side yard requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super, thank you so much. All right, Mr. Ream, you are one of the owners, correct?
Correct.
All right. Tell us what you want to do as it relates to the variances that you're seeking.
Sure. Really, everything that we're dealing with right now, we're not proposing any changes. All of the change to a three-family home, all of this, frankly, should be grandfathered in when we obtain this property, it was already in this current configuration. We have not done any changes to the outside property. All we've done is maintenance. So there's been no change. And for example, like everything we've done is just try to maintain the tenants and the upkeep of the home. We do have examples of an additional in this same zoning area. We have an example of another house that has a 3-family home, and I think that's the basics of it.
Okay, Ms. Green, when did you purchase this house?
We purchased this house, I believe it was, it's 2024. I think it was 2021.
Okay.
We've been doing, we were maintaining the house before that. We had
Were
to go
you
through
residing in the house? Is that why you were maintaining it before, or what was the situation?
No, we had lived in it from 2008. And then the owner of the house died and wanted the house to come to us. And because he wanted the house to come to us, and then we had to go through some probate issues, and the family of the dead owner had us take care of the house. And then through probate, we did purchase it once it went through the family.
Okay, once it cleared probate, you were able to purchase it.
Correct.
Okay, so you resided in the home since 2008. Sounds like the owner was elderly, so you were responsible for maintenance, and then as it was going through probate, you were still residing there, you were still maintaining it.
Not quite. We lived there for 8 years, and then we moved to West Boulevard, about a mile down the street. And we were friends with the owner, and so we didn't live there, but we still maintained it because he wanted the property to come to us.
All right. So how many gas and electric meters are on the building?
There are 3.
There are 3.
There are 3.
Okay. And was it occupied? Were all 3 units occupied? When you took possession?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Britton,
Yes,
if you'd like to make your statement.
I just wanted to make a quick statement of support of David and Frank.
Okay.
I knew the prior owner, I've been there for 16 years. East.
Okay, and you're immediately to the east of this
Correct, yeah,
house.
I own a 2-family immediately to the east.
Okay.
It's always been, ever since I've been there 16 years, it's always been a 3-family unit.
Okay.
I believe the young lady in the top unit, David, just started than I have, she's been there for years. And as far as
Longer
I-
than you've been there.
Yes, I believe so. David, that's confirmed that, but she's been there for years. And every indication of property, I knew the prior owner, the one that was deceased.
Okay.
It was for decades, been there for the family. There's a fire escape on the back of the building. That,
Okay.
looks like it's been there for 60 years. And I just want to support the owners. They're fantastic. They don't live in the property, but they maintain it very well. They live in the neighborhood. And I'd like to see them continue to do the business.
Okay, all right. Mr. Bay, have you reviewed the plans for the square footage for the 3rd unit?
I have not, to succeed with city planning, I have not specifically reviewed the square footage of the unit. But since the word written up and the notice of not performance, I don't think that'd be a necessary variance.
Okay.
I'll jump into city planning's.
Yep, go ahead. You're on a roll.
They're providing, means of access and egress, so we don't see an issue with a three-family unit here. There is some multifamily districts directly adjacent to the rear of the property, and then two-family uses throughout the single-family district, so we see it as contextual.
Right. Excellent. Okay. Any questions from the board? Ms. Holzer, anything? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of calendar number 24-194.
Second, please.
Board Member Roca, I second.
Thank you, Ms. Roca. Ms. Kugler, your public vote.
Madam Chair, we should probably note that section 341.021, the board does not generally approve, in this case, in most cases. So we are not getting a variance from the city planning and design review.
Correct, right.
Exactly. Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Bates.
Yes.
Calendar number 24-194 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellant a letter. You can also contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
And you, sir, your testimony was extremely valuable to making your case today. So thank you for spending the morning with us. Has it been fun? Yeah. Everyone says that. That's always the comment. Yes, you're good to go. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Mr. Reed, good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Blaine.
Yeah. You owe Blaine at least a coffee, I think.
Done.
All right. All right, we're on to 24-197.
196.
Did I miss one?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Our next case is calendar number 24-196. This is at 1017
Oh, there-
Field Avenue.
Sorry.
Katie Sephora, owner, proposes to split an existing office space into an office and retail space in a B1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are two. And with that, I'll hand it over to Ms. Wilson with you.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'll go ahead and swear in all who are present for this matter, starting with the folks in the room. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Katie Sephora, KATIE-SYKORA, live at 1017 Fairfield Avenue.
Okay, thank you very much. And is there anyone online? Oops. Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, great. It's like we just had Ms. Cora with us. All right, we'll take history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 2002, it was changed to multifamily. In our records administration office, we found that in 1922, a permit was issued for a store addition. And 1926, there was another addition made to the property. 1945, a permit was issued for repairs to a storefront. There are no variances on file, Madam Chair. I think that's the most pertinent information.
Yep. All right, thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, super. Ms. Sikora, tell us what you want to do as it relates to the variance you're seeking.
Yeah, so my husband and I bought this building in 2022. We wanted to keep kind of the history and the feel of Tremont. So Tremont's a very local community. The front is an office, and it's been running as an office for the civic builders for a long, long time. They're great tenants, and we have a really good relationship with them. They've actually sublet out the front left room to other businesses. But my husband and I want to open up a small retail shop in that front room.
Okay,
There's two exits or two doors, right, that can. be
two entries.
Yeah, two separate businesses. So it's really just asking to change from just office to an office being retail space for land use.
So the tenants that are, they're builders, you said?
They're civic builders, they do, yeah, like modeling and building.
That kind of thing, okay, all right. And they intend to remain in the other house?
It's in our lease. We have an annual lease with them, and the new lease stated that we would occupy that front room starting in February if everything is approved.
Okay, what is your business?
It'd be a local retail. So this isn't anything that's sorry for my husband and I.
What's that?
No,
Sorry.
Our long-term goal, like Pie in Sky, would be a local shop selling, I make my own hard cider, but I really like organic, locally grown apples to produce ciders. So it'd be unique ciders from around the US, selling them there, just like exposing people to different types of ciders. But I'd also like to have local crafts, so like a local retail shop, local artists, like the holiday pop-up stores.
Okay.
So it'd be a community, really community driven. We're not looking to, sustain our livelihood with this little retail shop. It's more of kind of a hobby for us, a retirement job down the road.
Okay.
For this little pro shop.
All right. Let's keep building.
Yeah, and we did, when we bought it, it needed a lot of repairs, so we actually redid the whole front facade of the building to restore to what we think it looked like.
Yeah.
But we redid all the brick and we retained the Polish screws. So
Yeah.
it was, when it was on the market, it was being looked at to be purchased and knocked down and like built somewhere else. So we want to keep like that local feel and history of.
Okay. You intend to serve the cider there, or are you gonna be?
I know there's like a lot of permits and everything you have to go through to get to that point. It would be a small tasting room is what I would envision it, if everything would get approved long term. It wouldn't be a bar. You don't want to stay open past 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
But this is more of, parking is always a problem in Tremont. I'm not looking to bring tons of people. It would be more of, we have a lot of people that walk along this street, going because there's a parking lot, a little further up on 14.
Yeah,
Walking to Professor. So there's a lot of people that just walk on the street.
Okay.
So we're really looking for someone walking by, seeing the shop, stopping in, maybe picking something up and, going their way. It's
Okay.
not like we're really looking to get a bunch of more people in this location.
So you mentioned hours. Let's go with your hours of operation.
It would be late morning, like maybe 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. All right, so we always give you a cushion, so we'll say 10 to 10. What's your staffing going to be?
My husband and I, we're not really looking to employ anyone. Now, in the future, maybe we would bring on an employee,
Yeah.
to house it or to service it, but.
Okay.
Again, so.
Yeah, I think your max would probably be 6. I mean, even if you expand.
Yeah, I mean,
with
it's such a small
shifts.
space, it's,
Yeah.
it's one person.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. And what is the parking situation for anyone? You are there.
Yep.
But, if you have anyone come in or if you have shoppers that.
Well, it is street parking, but up the street from us, there are 3 15-minute parking spots.
Okay.
They're temporary parking spots. And then a little bit up by the Greek church, there's a parking lot that is open.
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. Okay, great. All right, I'm just making a note, cider tasting, detail.
And additionally, we did bring this up, we go to our block maintenance.
All right.
So since we live in this area, we go to our block club every month, we brought this up to them.
Okay, great.
Support, I talked to the near West, Tremont, Brittany, I think.
Yeah, Brittany.
So talked to everybody and
Okay.
everyone I've talked to has been supportive.
So you've talked to the city planner, you've been to the Tremont Block Club. Super. All right, great. Mr. Bay, we'll go to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Executive Bay, representing city planning. I don't have much else to add. Like was mentioned by the applicant, the neighborhood planner, Brittany Pavonis, in support. They're taking up a very small square footage of the existing office commercial space that looks like it's currently existing here. And this property is actually adjacent to Southside Restaurant, and then on the further, I guess this would be the eastern corner, there are a few other retail shops in the area, so it is contextual use. And it's good to hear that the applicant just mentioned the business hours in respect to the residences directly next to us.
Right. I think we were, I mean, it doesn't sound like you're gonna be a raucous operation anyway. But you're within, civil hours for your residential neighbors. Okay, I'll entertain a motion board if there's no questions.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I heard 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. for business hours, but did we say days of the week?
Excellent, days of the week.
We're so far out from actually establishing the business. I would like the flexibility to be open every day.
Okay.
But if there's an issue with that, I guess.
Again, we'll give you a cushion, so we'll say 7 days, that covers you.
Okay.
You may choose to be dark on Mondays or something like that, so we'll go 7 days, Ms. Roca, for her. Thank you for raising that question. Anything else? All right, I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Roca, you want to take this since it's in your neighborhood?
Sure, Madam Chair. I move that based on the testimony we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 24-196, noting that the appellant will be operating the business from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week.
Super, thank you. Second, please.
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. Ms. Kukla?
Sure. Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Ms. Bay?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-196 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We'll send you a letter, but you can contact our office next Wednesday for further instruction.
Good luck for you. Looks like it's gonna be cute. I'm envisioning Red Gingham. And lots of apples. All right, 24-197.
Our next case is calendar number 24-197. This is at 3203 Lorraine Avenue, Westside Catholic Center. Owners of both the install approximately 101 linear feet of 6-foot high private fence and an actual side street yard, an actual rear yard, and 30 linear feet of 8-foot high privacy fence and an actual interior side yard in an E3 local retail zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the legal codified ordinances, as stated in the agenda, and the public record, of which there is one. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'll go ahead and swear in all who are present for this case. Starting in the room, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand and reply with I do. State your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do, and it's Nels Nelson, 13446 Curtin Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio. The spelling is Nels, N-E-L-S, and it's Nels.
Okay, thank you very much. I will now move to those of you who are online and wish to speak for this case. Anyone present? All right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Are you of Scandinavian heritage?
Yes.
All right.
My dad was from Norway, sailed on the lakes.
My family's from Norway as well, so that's, I picked that up because that's a traditional.
I'm
So
the
let me
facility.
do history of the property first. for you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sure, Madam Chair, this property was originally zoned general retail, and then in 2011, it was changed to local retail business. In our records administration office, we found that in 1935, there were repairs to a two-story structure. In 1976, we see that there was a permit issued to erect signage. 1981, there was exterior alterations to the gutters and downspouts and such. And then, Madam Chair, I think the most pertinent information is that in 2023, there were interior alterations to a property owned by the West Side Catholic Center. That's all that I have. Thank you.
Super. Okay, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health is requesting an area variance from the fencing requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super, thank you. All right, Mr. Nelson.
These pictures are the existing fence that is there now. It's been there probably for 20 years or more.
The decorative black fencing.
It's actually a wood fence and it's half rotted away, so I wanted to replace it this year. But we didn't have the funds to do it. But we had one of the parishes volunteered to pay the entire cost of the project, so we went forward with it. And we're also upgrading the fence to the best vinyl fence that you can buy. And the reason we asked for the variances on the one side where the parking lot is, the fence was extended. The original fence, when it was installed, was extended because the parking lot is about 3 or 4 foot higher than the level of the backyard of our shelter.
Okay.
So what would happen would be people, when it was the legal height, people were climbing on the wall and just jumping right over the fence. So it posed a security risk to the residents. So the fence was extended by putting longer pickets in there.
Okay.
And so we're basically just asking to replace that existing with the vinyl fence.
Okay.
But it has to be above the height that's supposedly legal.
Right.
But the necessity of it is it's a security.
It's a security issue. Yeah, get that. Okay.
For the residents in the shelter, because a lot of them are battered women and stuff like that. And
Okay.
we have to prevent, try to prevent this. If somebody was trying to come in there to get at one of the ladies that were in there. And,
So that's
the reason they denied our permit, because the fence company put the permit in and everything. Of course, it was denied because.
of the height.
Yeah, but the high side of the fences are on our property anyway, because we own the parking lot, so. I mean, I can't see how it would affect anybody because it's on our.
Is it
property.
up? You haven't installed the new fence yet?
No.
Okay,
no.
all right. You hit the roadblock when you're going home.
Yeah, we're just trying to.
Okay.
They still are gonna install it, but, if it gets approved.
Right. Okay, Mr. Bay, I'm just gonna pop to you.
Thank
Let
you,
us know
ma'am.
what's going on and what we can do here.
My name is Xavier Bay. I'm representing city planning. We propose, we recommend approval for their plans. The only consideration we would ask is that a visibility triangle be created. As you can see the hardship here with the pedestrian coming down. This is at the side street. West 32nd Street. So if you're coming down West 32nd Street away from Lorraine, you're not going to be able to see any cars that might be coming in here or coming out of this alleyway. And alternatively, if you're a car coming up, you'd have to pull all the way up probably into the sidewalk to actually see any pedestrians coming from Lorraine. So we would recommend that a visibility triangle be created. I understand the need for the security fence, so we don't, we recommend the approval for going up to 6 feet high.
Yeah.
We just would like to see some type of better pedestrian friendly design.
Okay, so they're gonna use vinyl, so those panels are 6 feet. So are you gonna be okay with a 6-foot miter on that corner?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
A vinyl fence, the panels are 6 feet, so are you gonna be okay with a 6-foot miter on that corner?
I see.
You know what I mean?
No, could you define divider?
The clip the corner off.
I see, yep. Yeah, that should suffice.
Okay,
Because I mean, in this picture here, you could even see, you know, I feel like the need would only go to possibly the second post coming off here, by each side.
okay.
We're actually putting, the same type of fences our neighbor has, that brown fence. And theirs goes to the same position that we're at, but
Well,
the only
yours
thing
is-
is they don't have a fence in the front.
Exactly. So that's the difference is you're turning the corner there with your solid fence.
Yeah,
So we're just gonna ask you to clip that corner.
yeah, would it be okay if we put in that corner, we could put it on an angle?
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Mr.
okay.
Bay will draw
Yeah.
you a little picture.
Cause I couldn't lower it.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. We're, the city planning is okay with the height.
Yeah.
Because we understand the extenuating
Yeah, we can do
circumstances,
that.
but we
That's
just
fine.
have that sightline issue. And I'm gonna have you, we'll do the vote. I'll have you stop over with Mr. Bay. Or you can give him contact information. Do we have, did I see a site plan in the deck, in the slide deck?
It's
Is that it there?
sure. Yes, this is
Okay.
the site plan for that.
All right, so you'll need to instruct him how to modify the site plan drawing. We'll just need an updated site plan drawing from you. Mr. Bay will tell you exactly what to do. All right?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I think.
There's
you're
just a bush and a small planter in that corner. It wouldn't be a problem to just put it
Okay.
on.
And that's all we'll need, and then we're good.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments, board? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, just for clarification, now looking at the site plan, if Mr. Bay could state on the record, we are looking not at the corner of Dollar Court and West 32nd. We're looking more of that parking lot where the parking lot meets the facade or the frontage on Dollar Court. Is that?
Through the chair, I'm speaking specifically to the intersection of West 32nd Street and Dollar Court. If you can see my icon. It's kind of hovering around.
Yeah.
Can we narrow that down to a directional? Like, is that the southwest corner, the northeast corner?
This would be the southeast corner.
All right, so the southeast corner. Is good job.
Thank you.
All right. All right. You wanna take this one?
Madam Chair, I move approval of calendar number 24-197 with condition that an updated site plan be submitted showing that triangle. I don't even know how to- My
It's
brain
a
is
minor
mushing at this point.
It's a minor
Thank you.
yes.
Vision triangle.
A vision triangle be showing on the site plans.
Okay, super. Do I have a second, please?
Madam Chair, I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. All right, we'll call the vote, please.
Sure. Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Bay?
Yes.
Calendar 24-197 is granted conditionally. We will hold ratification until we receive that updated site plan. Once we receive it, we will ratify it that following Monday and send you a letter.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
thank you.
We'll get you squared away. Mr. Bay will help do that. You just need to get us a new drawing in
Yeah, it's not a problem.
and you're good to go. All right,
Thank you.
super. All right. 24-198.
Our next case is calendar number 24-198. This is at 2147 West 20th Street. DI Development LLC owner proposes to erect a 3-story frame single-family residence with basement bedroom, four-car basement detached garage in D12 family residential district. The owner appeals for a leave from district application of including Hot 5 ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record of which there are 3. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Do we have an appellant online for this case?
Yes, it'll be Wesley Harper with Horton Harper Architects.
Oh, you're just spending the day with us, huh, Mr. Harper?
I'm just
Okay,
hanging out.
you
yeah.
are. All right.
All right,
cool.
I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, and spell your name.
I do. Wesley Harper, WESTLEIGH
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. I'm sure I think the most pertinent information is that in 2022, October of 2022, this board granted an identical variance to the same owner with no conditions. And I would just note that the description reads as a 23 by 40 three-story frame single-family dwelling residence with bedrooms and a basement with detached gable garage in a D1 two-family residential district. There were no no conditions placed on this, and the variance was ratified on October 10th, 2022.
Okay, super. All right, Mr. Harper, tell us what's happening. Oh, sorry, legal standard.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health is requesting area variances for the maximum gross floor area and interior side yard encroachment requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I almost skipped over. That's okay. I'm so excited to hear this case. All right, Mr. Harper, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Essentially, the variances expired for this project. We went through a handful of interior redesigns for this, and so really it's a single family house, new construction. This is a more traditional looking structure to kind of fit in with the context directly to the south. And the variances that we're looking for, I think everyone would agree, are fairly typical for single family homes in Tremont, Ohio City, Duck Island. If there's anything specific you have questions on, I'd be happy to answer them. But I think if anybody has any comments, I would be happy to.
If I remember it correctly, I think our point of contention on this was the window wells.
Mm-hmm.
So do you, that was a point of discussion if I'm remembering, because that is the only thing that wasn't it's the only thing that was a little unusual on this.
Sure.
So do you want to cover that for us?
Yeah, essentially we're elevating the house a fair amount to get windows down into the basement. Due to the width of the lot, we're able to get those 3-foot window wells to have a 2-foot setback from the property line.
Right.
If we could have gotten them to be 1 foot smaller to fit in the zoning code, we would have done that. But in this case, we weren't able to do that. So we would ask for the variances so that we can utilize the basement space as a possible bedroom and living room suite down there for the eventual owners.
So I don't think it was, if I'm remembering the discussion, it wasn't really necessarily an in-law suite, but it was an expansion of living space. And the window wells were necessary for the egress, obviously, right?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Any other questions, Ward?
I just want to clarify in my own mind, Madam Chair.
Right.
This is going on the vacant lot next to the existing house, correct? And then there's another. So the vacant lot is 2 parcels?
Yes, I believe so. It's vacant. There's 2 vacant parcels in between the house to the south. And then there's the house that's not quite on the corner parcel at 20th and Abbey. There's a vacant parcel at that corner than the existing house. So yes, two vacant parcels between the existing context.
Got it. Okay, I see it now. Thanks for the aerial. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No,
Good.
no further questions for me.
Okay, Ms. Wilson, anything?
I am all set, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Ms. Holzer?
Nothing for me.
All right, Mr. Bay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We recommend approval for this project. It's great to see infill housing happening throughout Cleveland. I think the only concern is just is 2 feet enough for maintenance to be done. I guess you could say that a weed whacker could fit through there, and somebody could, continue to build a home on the adjacent property. To ease all stress, I guess would it be possible for the applicant to shift the house further south 1 foot? This is a question.
Yeah, Madam Chair, the setbacks to the north and south property lines allow us to avoid fire rating those walls per the zoning code. If we were to move even 1 inch to the south, we would have to fire rate that wall, and the deed restrictions put on the property when it was purchased from the owner of the lot to the south wanted us to maintain a 5-foot setback along their property line. In terms of maintenance, we think that having the 5-foot setback for all of the house except the window wells is reasonable from a maintenance perspective, but that's just our opinion, I guess.
Okay. Good. The fire rating is a crucial thing, because that would substantially add to construction costs. Got that? Good. All right, Mr. Harper, I think we're satisfied with that. All right, I'll entertain a motion. Don't everybody jump at once, Ms. Wilson.
Madam Chair, I would move that we approve calendar number 24-198 based on the testimony that we've heard today.
Super, thank you so much. Could I have a second?
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. All right, Ms. Kugler, if you want to call the vote.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-198 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We'll send the appellants a letter. But you feel free to contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Good to see you, Mr. Harper. Thanks for spending the
You
morning
too.
with us.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Last but not least, oh wait, are we there?
It looks like the intro slide must have been deleted, but my apologies.
Okay,
I believe you have what you need to get that.
Yeah. Yep, we're good. I think so. You ready?
Our final case is calendar number 24-162. This is at 865 Jefferson Avenue. Tim McDonough, owner, proposes to erect a 4-story frame 2-family residence with attached garage in a C1 General Retail Business District. The owner appeals for a leave from district application of the codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record of which there are 3. This is a rehearing. On October 7th, this board granted a variance with condition that the appellant provide a written parking agreement with the nearby property owner. The appellant is now stating that a written parking agreement is not attainable and would like to require approval without it. Then I'll hand it over to Ms. Wilson.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'll go ahead and swear in all who are present. I'll start with those of you who are in the room. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do, Paul Beegan, my last name Beegan, from Beegan Architects and Design, 15703 Madison Avenue.
I do, Sid McDonough, that's MCD, ONO, UPH, address is 6075 Super Drive, Ferguson, Ohio, 441.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter?
That's it.
All right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Super, thank you. Anything to add to this, Ms. Kugler?
No, Madam Chair, I would just state that the history was read into the record on October 7th.
Right, okay, all right. And, anything to add to legal?
No, mine doesn't apply anymore.
Right. Super, okay.
Madam Chair, I would say one thing, and this may be brought up within the appellant's testimony. This variance was granted pending a parking agreement and also a cut sheet showing the garage door that will reflect the historic logo of Tremont. Probably
Right,
remember that.
yeah.
I wanted to state that for the
Right,
record.
we had some discussion about the garage door, as I recall, but I think the biggest thing was the front. That was the little thing on. So,
Madam Chair, I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
Are we rehearing this case? Or are we just discussing whether or not we're foregoing the parking agreement?
I think we're just foregoing the parking, or we're just the discussion.
Yeah, ideally, we'd have the appellant, just do a brief summary of what's happening. What's important is that we notify the neighbors about the change in the condition, and that way they have the opportunity to hear if they have any objections. But I think a brief explanation or just summary from the appellant might be enough if the board is looking for that. It's up to the board how much they really want here.
Well, let me ask you this, was anyone absent when we heard this case the first time?
The reason I bring it up is if I remember correctly, it was with the way that the vote landed, it was approved, but there are only 4 of us here today. So if they don't get consensus,
Right.
it's not. I'm just curious whether or not it will be upheld. That makes sense.
Well, it is new information. It is a change in the application. So I think that approval from last time is null at this point. This would be a new hearing altogether, or in a way, I guess. Yeah, I believe that the motion from last, that might be a question for the attorney. I think the motion from last hearing, you didn't have this information, so you're looking at it with a different lens, and so it would be a different legal.
Madam Chair and other colleagues, my recollection was one of the variances needed was for the garages, and there was discussion on the garage being necessary, and parking generally. So I think it does relate to the variance itself.
Correct. So do you, are you comfortable going forward with 4 members? Now that you spent the entire morning here?
Because you would need a majority vote in order for it to pass, and if you don't get a majority vote, then we'll have to move forward.
Madam Chair, if I could state, there were concerns issued or given to us from Bradley Siebler, I believe he's from the Block Club. The community did have concerns about the traffic and parking situations, and safety hazards, density and scale. So there was some community objection.
Yeah, there was some
Yeah,
community objection.
Yeah.
Though I feel like, my recollection is that most of that was satisfied with the exception of looking at the garage door and the parking situation. Is just to give you additional parking should you need it with the person that had verbally offered it across the street, but you couldn't secure written agreement. Right? And we've satisfied, I'm guessing, Mr. Beegan, the garage door issue?
Yes,
Yes,
I know we would submit that.
right. So they have fulfilled that requirement with regard to the garage door cut sheet. So what is really before us is the parking agreement that you couldn't secure for this part of it. So,
Yeah, I don't know the rules of the board if you're allowed to, modify the previously ratified decision or not.
right,
It's not
exactly.
previously approved, but
Yeah.
if that's the case, then yes, we would do it from the last.
Right, so we had, those were the two conditions, the garage door and the parking agreement. And we approved with those two conditions. They fulfilled the one condition of supplying the cut sheet for the garage door. You have that on file, correct, Ms. Kukla?
I'm not sure if I have it. I don't see it printed in here yet.
So,
Does Mr. Bay have it?
Mr. Bay, we have it. I'm guessing it was emailed. And we have it there. So we could run a copy of that. Why don't we do that? We'll run it. Okay, why don't we just, we'll give that to Ms. Kukla, so she has that. Does anyone want to look at it?
It's not necessarily that top page, that's the style.
The style is the top page?
No, it's not. It would have windows as the.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Susan Broadwater, with Vegan Architectural Design. BROAD Water.
Yeah, I remember it needed potentially spoke, and so I just wanted to let them know
Yeah.
that there's only 4 of us today.
Right, no, I understand.
So, and again, if we're not rehearing the whole case, we're just deciding whether or not to over the parking agreement, I think that's one thing.
Right.
But rehearing the whole thing.
Exactly.
Vote,
Right,
it could be split.
it could be split. Right. Okay, Ms. Kukla, you wanna?
Thoughts on that? Is that what you're asking or not?
Yeah. I mean, here's where I'm inclined because we've got this, I think that fulfills the one obligation. The other obligation, the other condition was the parking agreement, which we don't have. So does that warrant rehearing the entire case? Which is Ms. Holzer's question.
I do see some language in here that the board does have the authority to modify a previous decision.
Okay.
Generally, it is in reference to a case that's been denied, but it's in our rules and regulations. I think it's up to interpretation by the board.
Okay, all right. All right, board, Ms. Wilson, Ms. Rocco. We're looking at one condition, which is the parking agreement. And it was, as Ms. Holzer recalls, we did have public comment on it. There were some concerns. My recollection is that those concerns were satisfied with the conditions we placed on it, being the garage door and the parking agreement. We have a cut sheet of the garage door in hand now, leaving us the matter of the parking agreement, which he was unable to secure. So, I want you to give me comment on if you feel like you need to rehear the whole case, or if you feel comfortable with discussing the one condition, which is the parking agreement.
So I don't remember every last detail of this case. We hear many cases every Monday. What I do recall is that, and the appellant can correct me if I'm wrong here, there's one garage.
Correct.
And no other parking available for the units. Only one car can park at this property, correct?
There is Mr. Beacon, what's the distance of the driveway from the garage to the sidewalk? I think, if I remember correctly, we had 17 feet, so we had one car length.
Right, but we didn't want cars parking, blocking the sidewalk or anything like that either.
Right, but there's 17 feet, so there's enough driveway for a vehicle without being overhanging into the sidewalk. But just one vehicle and one garage.
I mean, the general concern with this from the beginning was we normally do, the board is not, we're not normally granting garages fronting a sidewalk
Correct.
because it's not a pedestrian friendly development.
Right.
And there's low visibility and there are concerns with cars backing out into people walking. That was the concern. At least that was
Right.
my recollection of the concern.
That was
and
the concern, and we had that discussion. You're right.
yes, so without this parking agreement, have we alleviated that concern? That's my question.
Okay, good question.
Are we gonna have a car parked on the, potentially parked on the sidewalk, parked in front of this house all the time? I mean, that's what I thought we were trying to address, but again, I'm not remembering every specific detail of this case. It was a while ago.
Right. Well, I think as I recall, the concern, the pushback from the neighbors was, as is typical, the scarcity of street parking and the need for one car might be garaged, but another car might be sitting on that driveway. And though there is 17 feet, which would accommodate a vehicle, the concern was, is that going to be enough? And that was why the applicant had mentioned the verbal agreement with a neighbor who would offer parking. But he wasn't able to turn that verbal agreement into a written agreement. Ms. Wilson, do you have thoughts on this?
So I remember you asking a question of whether we're okay with hearing just the isolated issue of the parking, and I would be okay with that as long as the appellant is affirming that nothing else has changed. So I would love a conversation about sort of how they plan to address the parking, given there's no parking agreement.
Okay, excellent. All right.
Yeah, so to answer your question, nothing else has changed. I am open to having tenant park in the driveway. I know that some people that's not ideal to see vehicle park there. But as far as securing the contract with the neighbor, it was a verbal conversation I had with the tenants of that property. Once I finally got the number, contact info of owner, he said he would not be open to that. He actually plans on building something that eventually. I didn't get into any details with that, but just I fought really hard with these plans to get a garage to not have a car in the street. So if I lose the garage, then I'm gonna lose the driveway, then I'm gonna have two cars in the street, which I think is kind of defeats our purpose.
Right.
So I'm trying to follow the rules and accommodate everything so far. So it's my last possible.
Right.
Madam Chair, it's very hard to hear him. I didn't hear really any of that testimony.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna ask you to speak up and be a little more direct.
We could just paraphrase what he said. That would work too.
Yeah, he's gonna do a quick summation for you.
Yeah, so I just want to say
Speak up just a little bit.
there has been no other changes to the plan so far. But with this parking contract, I verbally spoke with one of the neighbors who happened to be a tenant of that property. And then once I got the contact information for the actual owner of the property, he was not open to doing a contract with parking. Also with that, I just mentioned that originally, if I did follow all the city ordinances and everything, there would be no garage at my house. And I would have two cars parking in the street, being my tenant and myself. So by doing this garage, it takes us, one car off street parking. And then also I'm open to having the tenant park in the driveway. So I know it's not ideal from what your guys' standpoint was as far as having a vehicle in front of the house, but it does take two vehicles off the street. So I feel like I did make a lot of adjustments to this house and to try to make it work. This is just my final request while not having a parking contract.
Did you hear all that, Mr. Oka?
Yes, that was easier to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Mr. Bay, you want to chime in on this at all?
Yes, Xavier Bay, this is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. The neighborhood planner for the area, Brittany Pabon, and myself have met with the architect, in trying to design a more pedestrian-friendly design, with the constraints of the site. Most that could really be done is setting the garage back in further into the property, as I believe I mentioned last hearing. So, generally, we don't, typically we wouldn't approve or recommend approval for front-loaded garages. And so that's why we ended up working with the applicant. This design is somewhat more palatable, giving more space and visibility to the garage. And that really concludes my comments. I don't mean to muddy the waters, but I believe the neighboring resident had mentioned his issue with removing the existing driveway or access to the driveway that he currently uses, which isn't technically all on his property.
All right. Thanks for muddying the water. All right, board. You've heard input. So what would you like to do? Ms. Wilson, did you get information that you wanted to be able to form a decision?
I think, sorry, Madam Chair, just real quick. Again, just want to clarify, we're doing a full revote? Or do we want to give them the opportunity? Because I didn't hear whether or not you would rather wait until you have 5 people at risk.
Right. Well, and that's why we're waiting for Ms. Roca and Ms. Wilson to weigh in on if they're willing to just do the parking agreement issue.
It's a fundamental issue to the variant, so it's up to the appellant how they choose to proceed.
Ms. Wilson?
I'd be fine hearing the parking issue in isolation.
Okay. All right, so Ms. Wilson is okay with the parking. Ms. Roca, it sounds like you want to rehear the whole case?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
I would like to rehear the whole case as well.
Okay.
And extend them the opportunity to have a full board if you prefer that.
All right.
I'm under the assumption that Ms. Roca is going to vote no. Can I have the reading back of the vote from the last time? Know who said what? So that we have a better understanding.
I don't have that handy. I apologize, Madam Chair.
Myself and Ms. Roca voted no.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to also state that the vote was conditioned upon a parking agreement at the last
Correct.
vote.
That's
And
right.
so now we don't have that, so the circumstances have changed.
Right.
And if I may interject, if you actually go back and listen to the hearing, which we did several times, Mr. McDonough never said that he was able to obtain a written agreement, and the motion did not say specifically that a written agreement was required. That only came through on the condition.
Yeah, it was a
Right,
condition.
no, but it was not a condition during the hearing. It said the condition was that Mr. McDonough was going to speak to the adjacent neighbor about getting an agreement. The condition was more specific in that a written agreement is required as part of the condition. That was not any time during the testimony or during the motion that was presented. So I think if you go back and listen to that hearing, that's not exactly how it came out. Now, representing Mr. McDonough here, right? And we adjudicated this already with our discussions, right? It's either cars on the street or trying to get cars off the street, right? And that's what the discussion came down to. Is it better to have cars on the street or off the street? There's a lot of cars in this particular area. This side of the street does have a lot of garages and driveways, unlike other parts of the Tremont area. So it is in line. I would think that we would not go forward without the full board unless we're only talking about this particular issue. If we're re-adjudicating the whole entire thing, which we have done already and already been approved, right? Say for this one thing, I don't think we would move forward without the board.
Okay. All right. Ms. Kukla, are you in agreement with that, sir? All right.
So the next hearing date is January 6th.
All right.
And would it be possible to ask Ms. Kukla to go back and listen to that first hearing? About specifically what the motion said as far as because we went back and listened to it, my representation of my listening to that hearing again was that the condition was that Mr. McDonough was gonna reach out to see if we can get an agreement, not a condition that an agreement was required. So I think that differential right there, you know, I think it's worth listening to the words that were said during that first condition.
Okay.
Madam Chair, for the record, we'll get the verbatim transcripts from the court reporter.
Excellent. That's what I was gonna say. Let's make sure we get the transcript and disperse it to board members for review prior to the next meeting. Or to the rescheduled hearing. Okay. So January 6th, gentlemen. It might be to your benefit to see if you can get the council person involved. So that you're not spending the entire morning. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Table number 24-162 has been postponed to January 6th. Ms. Kukla, please make sure that we have all 5 board members present. We're not gonna postpone again. All right. Old business. We have 2, 3, 4, and 5 without objection.
No objection.
Without objection.
No, I was just double checking that I was there. Yeah.
Yeah. See your initials, I was checking. Okay, super. December 9th, any absences? Any recusals? All right, I'm gonna assume since no one's chimed in that everyone's gonna be here and everyone's gonna be able to hear all the candidates. That's great. I'm gonna ask you to hang for just one quick second. And we're adjourned.